Welcome, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't think anybody's even here yet. This is kind of my first time going live from here, from this platform. Just let me know if you can hear me and if this is showing up. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sit and Spin. I appreciate that. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me know if you can hear me. Because I had problems with my microphone yesterday. I don't know what it is. So I may have to go grab my other microphone. And I'm trying to lower my blood pressure. Okay, so just bear with me on this. Kind of woke up to this cluster F. Okay, so okay, there it is. All right, I see it. I see it. Let me share my screen. We're gonna watch a live press conference for Lori Daybell. Present share. I think that's it. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, East Idaho News has it. I had watched just blah, blah, blah. Let me let y'all watch this until the presser comes on.
With Fox 10 News checking in. I'm here at MCSO headquarters. For those of you who are not from the Phoenix metro area, this is the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, really the home base here. We are awaiting a press conference set for noon Mountain Time, so just in about 20 minutes. Obviously, the big news here today is that Lori Vallow has officially been extradited back to Arizona from Idaho. She was serving her uh, life sentence in prison at the Pocatello Women's Correctional Center since the end of July until now, because she has murder charges to face here in Maricopa County. If you've been following this case, you know those charges stem back to 2019 when her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, was shot and killed by her late brother, Alex Cox. Chandler police believe, with the evidence they have, that she conspired with her brother to kill her then husband, Charles Vallow, before moving to Idaho. She's also accused of conspiring with her late brother, Alex Cox, in the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux, in a shooting that he survived. He was not hit in October of 2019. Brandon Boudreaux was the husband of Lori Vallow's niece, Melanie Pulowski, then Melanie Boudreaux. Again, if you've been following this story, you know how many layers there are to this, how complex it is. But here today to check in with you guys and let you know that I'm covering this press conference here at MCSO. We'll be asking the sheriff questions about how this extradition really suddenly happened, because as we know from the county attorney's office here, there was no that we could be seeing her after an appeals process took place in Idaho. So really we had no idea when she would be brought back here to face the murder charges against her. As for this jurisdiction, and sorry, I have some. And Lori Vallow is an accused murderer. We know she's a convicted murderer in the state of Idaho, so she has that case, that conviction, and that sentence in Idaho, and she is appealing. But here, I mean, really, nothing has started, and prosecutors have their case ready against her. But how long will it take? Will she plead guilty or not guilty at her arraignment? Her arraignment is on December 7th at 8:30 a.m. We just saw her initial appearance today in court. So there's some video of her, and I posted a snippet of that as well as the full YouTube link if you want to watch that. Basically, her asking about how many public defenders she would get. She has no bond here, but you should also know that our stream of this press conference is on fox10phoenix.com. You can click on the web story for this developing story, Lori Vallow's extradition complete, and there'll be a live web player, and you can watch in about 20 minutes the sheriff give his statement on what happened. He really can't say too much on the judicial part, but he's going to talk about the extradition process, where she's housed, which we know is Estrella, the women's jail here in the county. Is she in isolation? We'll see what we can find out. Can't answer too many questions right now, but just checking in, letting you guys know that we are covering this today, and I'll be filing reports throughout the day, live at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and so on through the night for our nightly newscast, and I'll be posting links here as well. But I've been trying to update throughout the day on my Facebook page. As you can see, Lori Vallow is back. This has been a long process. She has not set foot in Arizona for more than 4 years since she moved in late August of 2019. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching this quick Facebook Live, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, now we're going to move to sorry. Beautiful, huh? Okay, the press conference still hasn't started. So I'm going to entertain you guys with what Donna captured earlier in StreamYard.
Department of Corrections, that makes you non-bailable at this hearing. So you're not eligible for bail in either case. You do have your court date. You know a lawyer is going to be appointed for you. Do you have any questions?
Are those cases going to be combined, or are they going to be done separately?
Well, they are two separate cases, but they're going to be handled at the same hearing.
Okay.
Okay. So you can talk to your lawyer, but they are two separate cases, which means that you'd have two separate proceedings going forward if it goes to trial.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Hall?
Just one attorney, or more attorneys will be assigned?
Well, at this point in time, you're likely going to have the one lawyer represent you at this particular hearing. What the Maricopa County Public Defender does at this point in time with respect to who they assign for counsel for you, or how many lawyers you have, or anything like that, that will be between you and your lawyer.
$26.73.
All right. So
Ms. Vallow, sorry, it's repeating. Hold on.
On two cases. These
Hold
are both
on.
grand jury warrants. That means
Stop sharing.
jury here in Arizona.
I need to shut it up. Okay. All right. Let me share again because I'm slow. And the press conference still hasn't started that I know of, because I'm watching it on Facebook as well. All these tabs look alike. Okay. Share. Let's see. This is East Idaho News. Sharing the press conference. Just waiting, as always. So just stand by while I gather all the things. That way we can watch all the things. And I mean, I think, no, I don't think. I know that it's normal for them to transport prisoners in the middle of the night, especially when they're, federal cases or federal cases. They do that so that, no one can really, I guess it's for safety of the inmate, safety for public safety, I'm sure. They just kind of do that. I'm just kind of checking all the tabs. I do have Apple Pay. Jamie. Finishing my cigarette. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go to this real quick.
26.
Ooh.
First of all, if you like your other world,
that's not. I hate ads. In case y'all didn't know, I hate ads. All right, still waiting for the news conference to start, the press conference on her extradition. There was a tweet that Trey shared with me, and it was from, let me grab it. Hold on, my mom just texted. Okay. Hold on. I don't know. I don't know, Beach Bum. Just give me 1 second and I'll be able to accommodate that, I think. I don't really know how to do it either. Let me go grab a link from my mom just in case she wants to come on. She's like, I look like crap. I'm like, me too. But I told her she can come on without her, uh, whatever, the little icon, without the avatar. Oh, my phone is slow. Oh, I need to take it off Wi-Fi. It's catching the Wi-Fi from my bedroom. Not here. I'm gonna refresh this just because paranoid. Not really paranoid, but just kind of watching. Come on. No. Just kind of watching. Oop. Don't want to be live. Can't have that planned too. Oh my God. Just trying to grab a damn link. Invite guest. Copy. Send to mom. This is what I do. Camera off. Hats off to all the people that do this and just make it look so freaking seamless, okay? There must be freaks or something. I don't know. I don't have that in my blood. That gene missed me. Okay, there's my mom. I'm gonna bring Kay Woodcock, my mom, up, and so she's gonna join us. And well, mom.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
I don't know who's here. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Actually, I
Okay.
can. Isn't this much easier without the pressures of being on camera?
Oh, absolutely, because you aren't going to get me on camera today.
Right? I debated myself also, and I pulled my hair back and tried to put a little base on my flushed face because my blood pressure went up whenever I saw all this.
No. Yeah, Larry is going to do a little thing with Justin at 3:00. So
Mm.
and Justin was trying to get me. I was like, I'm not doing it. Larry will do it. Larry's in his pajamas and he's got his brace on and he'll do just fine.
Yeah, this is his wheelhouse.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
So what do you
anyway,
think about this, her
I
being
think
extroverted?
I think the best part of it is the only thing that would make it better is if she had to ride a prison bus all the way down from Ida from Pocatello.
Right.
That would be the cherry on the top.
Can you imagine? Like we had heard before, whenever they transported her to Ada County, and like the woman, the convenience store they stopped at, she said that they saged the place. After Lori visited, I was like, I don't blame you. I would sage it too.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, no, I mean I'm glad, I'm great. I got text from the prosecutor in Maricopa County today already, and so she's on the ball and letting me know that she is there, and if we have any questions or anything, just to let her know. So I'm good. And we did get to meet her back a few months ago. Larry and I met with her, and I think she's going to do an excellent job taking care of Lori.
well, good, good. I mean, I remember y'all telling me that then, and it was right after right after Idaho, she got
Right after the
sentenced, right?
sentencing, yeah, because we
Yeah.
drove
Custody of one of the prisons.
Okay.
We sent 4 deputies
more predictable and more within our control, that if we were going to transport her, that we wouldn't have to deal with any kind of weather conditions or air travel challenges. So our deputies left
I'm going to mute you,
There
Mom.
there it is.
on the 27th, Friday. Arrived there, stayed for a day to prepare, and brought her back. We sent 2 extraditions deputies, a supervisor, and 1 deputy from our K-9 division, but it's just because she's a female deputy. We want to make sure there was a female accompanying suspect Vallow in her travel back. It was about an 18-hour trip. In my statement, as you saw, I talked about the fact that we do about 250 plus extraditions every year. So this is not new for them. The uniqueness or maybe the circumstances involved in this particular case are very high profile and much to the interest of our local and national audience. I don't want to diminish it. It is what we do, as I stated, and we do it very well. Whether it is her or any other fugitive who's wanted in the state of Arizona, we're going to facilitate transfer into our custody so the prosecutor's office can prosecute them effectively. She had her initial appearance at about 2 a.m. when she was remanded without bond. So the case will now be in the hands of the county attorney. While in our custody, at the conclusion of whatever happens with the court case, she will then be returned to Pocatello, to their Department of Corrections. So I want to thank them for their cooperation and facilitation of this also. And I also want to just recognize and express gratitude to our team here, the deputies that spent 4 days on the road to bring her back safely. We do have a really, really good video for you, which I can't show you right now, but we'll get it to you of bringing her into the jail where you get a good look at the process, the initial process of her custody. So I don't, there's not a whole lot more depth to it than that. I just want to make sure you heard from me the status of it, and I'm happy to answer a few questions if they're related to this case.
Sure.
I'll start with
I was going to say, will she be kept in any sort of segregated situation, or is she going to be in just
Yeah, no, that is a good question. She will be. She's deemed to be high security, so she'll be isolated in a high security area, the Estrella jail.
Tell us what goes into a process such as this. You've dealt with high-profile inmates in the past. That's not new, but obviously this planning has been going on, I would assume, for some time.
It has, and we wanted to make sure that it was during my tenure as sheriff. I feel like our focus has always been about being really fundamentally sound and less about the bells and whistles. And the men and women who put the planning and preparation took everything into consideration. As I said, we had challenging weather conditions. The last thing we wanted to do was try to fly and get stuck in an airport, where suddenly now we're in a space where there's a lot of community members and others, and it takes an extensive period of time. If we're going to travel that road, we need to make sure that we had the appropriate vehicles. As I said, we sent a female deputy to make sure that we had a female deputy accompanying a female inmate. We sent those from our FATE detail, and extraditions facilitated this because we're the best at managing any kind of transfer of custody or apprehension of those deemed to be dangerous. And make no mistake about it, sometimes I think we look at a person and judge them by appearance, and we go, well, this is a relatively moderate sized female. What kind of a threat can she be? She is as much, if not more, of a threat to the harm of others as any other dangerous criminal we've had in our custody. So we figure out the entire route, map the challenges, where we're going to stay, how we make sure that our employees get the rest necessary to come back safely. I think it was an 18-hour drive back. Is that correct? About 18 hours? Yeah. So we'll call it planning an extensive road trip that just happens to include bringing back a dangerous fugitive.
Can you clarify this part, though? You said at some point she'd be brought back to Idaho, to Pocatello, but this court case here, we don't know how long that's going to take. She has an arraignment coming up, and she has an appeal process. Housed here for the duration of this case in Maricopa County.
She'll be housed here until the conclusion of her case, and then once there is a conclusion, that the county attorney and their attorney there will have to determine. I would imagine that she'd have to return to spend her time there, and then whatever time either is going to be consecutive, concurrent, whatever the outcome is. But I'm just being respectful of the fact that she is in their custody, and now she's been transferred to us for the specific case.
I know initially.
Let me just check the rest of the room before I come back to you. Anybody got questions left? Hey, Rick, how are you, buddy? Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I understand.
I have two, but what was her demeanor like during this process?
I understand that she was very sociable the entire trip. Talked quite a bit.
About what?
Oh, that's between the deputies, the courts, and the prosecutor, apparently. I don't know that she gave any specific statements related to the investigation, but I just know that they said she was very chatty.
And I'll just add to that. I know initially maybe there weren't plans to extradite her until after the appeal process in Idaho was concluded. Why did that change?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's something probably I'm sure maybe Rachel Mitchell can answer to the county attorney. She would know more about the specifics on any court related elements.
So with that said, who ultimately makes the call? Is it between MCAO and then you, and the green light is given, and then you say, okay, go, you guys ready for the trip that we planned? Idaho involved in it? Like, who ultimately makes that call? Because this kind of happened pretty quickly.
No, not so much. We just kept it under wraps because we didn't want to, I don't like to talk about things until we execute on them and carry out our duties. So the legal sides of the extradition relative to their willingness to allow us to take custody of her here and hold her for trial here, that takes place at the prosecutorial level. Once there's a green light that she is going to be available for us to extradite here to Arizona, then we take it from there and do all the planning and handle all the operations.
Was it you said it was an 18-hour drive back. Was it nonstop? Did you guys have to stop anywhere to rest, or just kind of what is that like when you have to drive someone like this across the country?
Well, I just know on drives that long, it's usually my family saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" But it's just I stop for gas, stop for food, stop for rest stops, and make sure that we're being accommodating to the needs of the inmate. But get here as quickly as you can, without it being a danger to, as I said, we had 4 deputies, so I'm going to presume that they took turns driving, or if not, that they took time to rest. They got back safely.
And there was no issues along the way?
No. In this case, we used 2 4-wheel drive vehicles because we were going to be dealing with potential weather conditions. Not much more complicated than that.
And I know we can't see the video, but we'll watch it later. Can you expand more what we'll see in the video when we do?
Yeah, I think you guys use the term perp walk. It's just her coming into the back parking lot of the ITR, being brought into the facility, a short, exposure to the search process, transfer her into the, the jail clothing. And then at that point, she just, goes into a cell waiting on her initial appearance. So it just gives you exposure to our team bringing her into the jail and getting a good look at this fugitive who's now in the custody of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Any idea how much it costs to extradite her?
No, but I can get you that number. That's a good question. It's not cheap, but it's obviously money well spent.
Obviously, there was families that were impacted here.
Yeah.
Just what would you like to say to the families that were impacted here now, knowing that there's at least one step closer to closure in this case?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. When I spent a lot of time working with victims, as you guys know, when I was my former agency, all that matters is, I pray for them that their hearts will find a way to heal as best you can with significant loss like this. When it comes to the justice side of the ledger, of scales, I don't know that, successful prosecution, what the punishment is. I don't think there's anything that occurs in that space that really fills that void. And I don't know that, I'm sure some family members feel passionate about it. Others just kind of want to have their own path to overcoming this. So for me, just from one human to another, my heart breaks for them. Anybody who suffered loss at the hands of an evil person like this. And I pray that they'll find peace. We do. We have a plane that we use for extraditions. It's really just, distance circumstances, because it's not a commercial plane like you'd see. The majority of our extraditions occur through commercial transport. But again, now you're dealing with circumstances where you're going to be in an environment with a lot of other people who are just community members and unaware of the circumstances. So it enhances the danger slightly. If you go into a location and suddenly there's a storm and your flight is delayed, then you're sitting in an airport for hours, if not days, delayed because of that. And we wanted to mitigate any of those potential unexpected obstacles, unexpected challenges, to make sure that we could get her back as quickly as possible.
Obviously, she's an accused murderer in this state, but overall, she was found guilty. Have you followed the case at all leading up to this?
I don't. No. I'm familiar as much as you guys have reported. My team has briefed me, and it's not because I'm not interested, but I have a lot of other things that are pressing, timely, and specific to this organization that I focus on. So I know the devastation that's been left in the trail. I know the importance of making sure that this office handles our business professionally and efficiently. And, just to give you some context, as I said, 250 plus of these transfers a year that our extraditions team does. And our FATE team who participated, they're approaching 1,000 arrests of fugitives that are extremely dangerous, and many of which, if I threw out some names, you wouldn't even know who they were, but they're getting them off the streets, made the community a safer place. All right, let's.
Right now.
Yeah, is she at Estrella? Is that where we got her? Yeah, that's our jail for female inmates, so she'll be housed there. We will get you the video immediately as soon as you leave here.
Just clarify the charges too. I think the courts have 2 different counts of conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah, on the booking sheet, what I have is murder in the first degree, and then murder first degree premeditated. The conspiracy element is more of like a, I'm trying to get the correct term, but just, it has to do with the process on how it was played out with others and everything. But at the end of the day, she's in for 2 counts of first degree murder, 1 premeditated. Yeah.
Also, just a question: is that pretty typical?
Hiding over there on me.
trying to become invisible. But,
Sure.
How common is that to kind of opt for the drive? I know you said whether by the main role, but any sort of high-profile cases, is that more common?
I wouldn't say that it's uncommon. It's not something that happens frequently, but it's remove the name, remove the circumstances, with the exception of it is a person wanted for a violent crime. Anytime we have that kind of heightened threat because the danger of the other members of the community, then we're going to look at all these other factors that could impede or delay our travel. And if we feel like those things outweigh the benefit of getting in a car and driving, and though it's inconvenient, then we're going to get in a car and drive and do whatever's necessary to keep people safe. So it wasn't just so much her, it was all the circumstances involved. Yeah. All right. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I appreciate your guys' time. Gratitude to our office and the men and women who do exceptional work every day. God bless.
All right. Well, I don't know where mom went. It says device is not connected. So, but yeah, I really don't know. Y'all know I don't process things right away. And so I'd have to rewatch it really to even start to process it. I don't know. I'm weird like that. Let's see. What else can we go look at? The pictures though. Oh my bejesus. Her picture, she's like, I don't know. I don't even know how to do the face. But when he said that they treated her like a dangerous whatever criminal, I was like, okay. He said, because most people can do it, or most people look at somebody and judge them on their appearance. And I'm like, that's why we're here to begin with, right? Okay, I have my notifications on, so it's going to go off a lot. All right, so let's see. It was Kurt Nerney. I don't know how to spell his name, though, so I'm going to go look it up. I don't know exactly where Trace found that. Vallow Daybell on extradition. Let's see. Let's see what it pulls up. I'm just going to put Twitter. It don't know damn X, I swear. Yeah, there. Bam. Pulled it up. Imagine that. Okay. Oop. Present. Share. Share. Okay. So, Lori Vallow Daybell's extradition. I know Trace just sent me the picture, but I can't send it to my computer. Oh, if it could only do that, then I would be boss of all this. Watch out, big YouTube creators, because I'd rule the roost. Okay. But I don't have that, unfortunately. So see, there are differing opinions here. It's because I've already seen this on court TV. They had, after she was sentenced in, okay, hold on. Okay, my mom just texted. Don't know why. I didn't show because I was still here. Huh. Okay. Okay. Hold on just one second. I am sending another link to my mom. Actually, to Larry. Allegedly. Copy. Larry. Just Larry. Okay. Sending. Paste. Send. Here's a link if you want to join. Okay, so he could pop in any moment and let us know how he feels. And, you know, I really do want to play that over again because, again, I don't comprehend things that way, unfortunately. You know, it's like it has to sink in because it's just crazy. It's just crazy. That's all. Let me see where I just saw it.
Play it.
I'm
Crash it and go ahead and play it again.
looking for it all over because
Okay.
I clicked out of it like a dum-dum. Arizona press conference live. Let's see. There it is. Okay, hold on just one sec. Okay, hold on just 1 second. Here, I just found it.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
He's left on the 27th, Friday. Arrived there, stayed for a day to prepare, and brought her back. We sent 2 extradition deputies, a supervisor, and 1 deputy from our K-9 division, but it's just because she's a female deputy. We want to make sure there was a female accompanying suspect Vallow in her travel back. It was about an 18-hour trip.
Suspect.
In my statement, as you saw, I talked about the fact that we do about 250 plus extraditions every year. So this is not new for them. The uniqueness or maybe the circumstances involved in this particular case are very high profile and much to the interest of our local and national audience. I don't want to diminish it. It is what we do, as I stated, and we do it very well, whether it is her or any other fugitive who's wanted in the state of Arizona. We're going to facilitate transfer into our custody so the prosecutor's office can prosecute them effectively. She had her initial appearance at about 2 a.m. when she was remanded without bond. So the case will now be in the hands of the county attorney. While in our custody, at the conclusion of whatever happens with the court case, she will then be returned to Pocatello to their Department of Corrections. So I want to thank them for their cooperation and facilitation of this also. And I also want to just recognize and express gratitude to our team here, the deputies that spent 4 days on the road to bring her back safely. We do have a really, really good video for you, which I can't show you right now, but we'll get it to you of bringing her into the jail where you get a good look at the process, the initial process of her custody. So I don't, there's not a whole lot more depth to it than that. I just want to make sure you heard from me the status of it, and I'm happy to answer a few questions if they're related to this case.
Sure.
I'll start with
I was going to say, will she be kept in any sort of segregated situation, or is she going to be in just?
Yeah, no, that is a good question. She will be. She's deemed to be high security, so she'll be isolated in a high security area, the Estrella jail.
Tell us what goes into a process such as this. You've dealt with high-profile inmates in the past. That's not new, but obviously this planning has been going on, I would assume, for some time.
It has, and we wanted to make sure that it was during my tenure as sheriff. I feel like our focus has always been about being really fundamentally sound and less about the bells and whistles. And the men and women who put the planning and preparation took everything into consideration. As I said, we had challenging weather conditions. The last thing we wanted to do was try to fly and get stuck in an airport where suddenly now We're in a space where there's a lot of community members and others, and it takes an extensive period of time. If we're going to travel that road, we need to make sure that we have the appropriate vehicles. As I said, we sent a female deputy to make sure that we had a female deputy accompanying a female inmate. We sent those from our FATE detail, and extraditions facilitated this because we're the best at managing any kind of transfer of custody or apprehension of those deemed to be dangerous. And make no mistake about it, sometimes I think we look at a person and judge them by appearance, and we go, well, this is a relatively moderate sized female. What kind of a threat can she be? She is as much, if not more, of a threat to the harm of others as any other dangerous criminal we've had in our custody. So we figure out the entire route, map the challenges, where we're going to stay, how we make sure that our employees get the rest necessary to come back safely. I think it was an 18-hour drive back. Is that correct? About 18 hours? Yeah. So we'll call it planning an extensive road trip that just happens to include bringing back a dangerous fugitive.
Can you clarify this part, though? You said at some point she'd be brought back to Idaho to Pocatello, but this court case here, we don't know how long that's going to take. She has an arraignment coming up, and she has an appeal process. Housed here for the duration of this case in Maricopa County.
She'll be housed here until the conclusion of her case, and then once there is a conclusion, that the county attorney and their attorney there will have to determine. I would imagine that she'd have to return to spend her time there, and then whatever time either is going to be consecutive, concurrent, whatever the outcome is. But I'm just being respectful of the fact that she's in their custody, and now she's been transferred to us for the specific case.
I know initially.
Let me just check the rest of the room before I come back to you. Anybody got questions left? Hey, Rick, how are you, buddy? Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I understand.
I guess I have two, but what was her demeanor like during this process?
I understand that she was very sociable the entire trip. Talked quite a bit.
About what?
Oh, that's between the deputies, the courts, and the prosecutor, apparently. I don't know that she gave any specific statements related to the investigation, but I just know that they said she was very chatty.
And I'll just add to that. I know initially maybe there weren't plans to extradite her until after the appeal process in Idaho was concluded. Why did that change? Yeah, I'm not sure. That's something probably I'm sure maybe Rachel Mitchell can answer to the county attorney. She would know more about the specifics on any court-related elements.
So with that said, who ultimately makes the call? Is it between MCAO and then you, and the light is given, and then you say, okay, go, you guys ready for the trip that we planned? Idaho involved in it? Like, who ultimately makes that call? Because this kind of happened pretty quickly. No, not so much. We just kept it under wraps because we didn't want to, I don't like to talk about things until we execute on them and carry out our duties. So the legal sides of the extradition relative to their willingness to allow us to take custody of her here and hold her for trial here, that takes place at the prosecutorial level. Once there's a green light that she is going to be available for us to extradite here to Arizona, then we take it from there and do all the planning and handle all the operations.
You said it was an 18-hour drive back. Was it nonstop? Did you guys have to stop anywhere to rest, or just kind of what is that like when you have to drive someone like this across the country? Well,
I just know on drives that long, it's usually my family saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" But it's just stop for gas, stop for food, stop for rest stops, and make sure that we're being accommodating to the needs of the inmate. But get here as quickly as you can, without it being a danger to, as I said, we had 4 deputies, so I'm going to presume that they took turns driving, or if not, that they took time to rest. They got back safely.
And there was no issues along the way?
No. In this case, we used 2 4-wheel drive vehicles because we were going to be dealing with potential weather conditions. Not much more complicated than that.
And I know we can't see the video, but we'll watch it later. Can you expand more what we'll see in the video when we do?
Yeah, I think you guys use the term perp walk. It's just her coming into the back parking lot of the ITR, being brought into the facility, a short, exposure to the search process, transfer her into the, the jail clothing. And then at that point, she just, goes into a cell waiting on her initial appearance. So it just gives you exposure to our team bringing her into the jail and getting a good look at this fugitive who's now in the custody of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Any idea how much it costs to extradite her?
No, but I can get you that number. That's a good question. It's not cheap, but it's obviously money well spent.
Obviously, there was families that were impacted here.
Yeah.
Which is what what would you like to say to the families that were impacted here now, knowing that there's at least one step closer to closure in this case?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I mean, I spent a lot of time working with victims, as you guys know, when I was my former agency. All that matters is, I pray for them that their hearts will find a way to heal as best you can with significant loss like this. When it comes to the justice side of the ledger, the scales, I don't know that successful prosecution, what the punishment is. I don't think there's anything that occurs in that space that really fills that void. And I don't know that, I'm sure some family members feel passionate about it. Others just kind of want to have their own path to overcoming this. So for me, just from one human to another, my heart breaks for them. Anybody who suffered loss at the hands of an evil person like this. And I pray that they'll find peace.
Was there a time that the sheriff's
We do. We have a plane that we use for extraditions. It's really just distance circumstances, because it's not a commercial plane like you'd see. The majority of our extraditions occur through commercial transport. But again, now you're dealing with circumstances where you're going to be in an environment with a lot of other people who are just community members and unaware of the circumstances. So it enhances the danger slightly. If you go into a location and suddenly there's a storm and your flight is delayed, then you're sitting in an airport for hours, if not days, delayed because of that. And we wanted to mitigate any of those potential unexpected obstacles, unexpected challenges, to make sure that we could get her back as quickly as possible.
Obviously, she's an accused murderer in this state, but overall, she was found guilty. Have you followed the case at all leading up to this?
I don't. No. I mean, I'm familiar as much as you guys have reported. My team has briefed me, and it's not because I'm not interested, but I have a lot of other things that are pressing, timely, and specific to this organization that I focus on. So I know the devastation that's been left in the trail. I know the importance of making sure that this office handles our business professionally and efficiently. And, just to give you some context, as I said, 250 plus of these transfers a year that our extraditions team does. And our FATE team who participated, they're approaching 1,000 arrests of fugitives that are extremely dangerous, and many of which, if I threw out some names, you wouldn't even know who they were, but they're getting them off the streets, made the community a safer place. All right, let's.
Right now.
Yeah, is she at Estrella? Is that where we got her? Yeah, that's our jail for female inmates, so she'll be housed there. We will get you the video immediately as soon as you leave here.
Just clarify the charges too. I think the courts have two different counts of conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah, on the booking sheet, what I have is murder in the first degree and then murder first degree premeditated. The conspiracy element is more of like a, I'm trying to get the correct term, but just, it has to do with the process on how it was played out with others and everything. But at the end of the day, she's in for 2 counts of first degree murder, 1 premeditated. Yeah.
Also, just have a question. Is that pretty typical?
Hiding over there on me.
trying to become invisible. But,
Sure.
How common is that to kind of opt for the drive? I know you said whether it may roll, but any sort of high-profile cases, is that more common?
I wouldn't say that it's uncommon. It's not something that happens frequently, but it's remove the name, remove the circumstances, with the exception of it is a person wanted for a violent crime. Anytime we have that kind of heightened threat because the danger of the other members of the community, then we're going to look at all these other factors that could impede or delay our travel. And if we feel like those things outweigh the benefit of getting in a car and driving, even though it's inconvenient, then we're going to get in a car and drive and do whatever's necessary to keep people safe. So it wasn't just so much her, it was all the circumstances involved. Yeah. All right. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I appreciate your guys' time. Gratitude to our office and the men and women who do exceptional work every day. God bless.
Okay, I have a hard time finding my way back to the screen. Okay. All right. So Mary, okay, so what I did was Mary, or Detective's daughter, just sent some information. I haven't got to look at it yet, but what the hell's going on with this eye? Yeah, threw some makeup on, okay? Yeah, barely. All right, back to the freaking basics, right? So for anybody who hasn't seen this, because I saw a couple comments, this is the hooker.
Questions. That makes you non-bailable this hearing. So you're not eligible for bail in either case. You do have your court date. You know a lawyer's going to be appointed for you. Do you have any questions?
Are those cases going to be combined or are they going to be done separately?
Well, they are two separate cases, but they're going to be handled at the same hearing.
Okay.
Okay. So you can talk to your lawyer, but they are two separate cases, which means that you'd have two separate proceedings going forward if it goes to trial.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Vallow?
Just one attorney or more attorneys will be assigned to me?
Well, at this point in time, you're likely going to have the one lawyer represent you at this particular hearing. What the Maricopa County Public Defender does at this point in time with respect to who they assign for counsel for you or how many lawyers you have or anything like that, that will be between you and your lawyer.
Okay, so it's going to start again, but hold on, I'm about to show you something else.
All right. So Ms. Vallow,
Miss Value, who takes the value out of the name Vallow, right? Okay, hold please. Going to switch over to my Canva app, which is where Mary had sent me. Okay, this was a thumbnail I was trying to make for this because I need a better thumbnail for when I do go live on surprise, you know, like on the fly. But okay, so this is what Detective's daughter sent. It says Lori Noreen Vallow, IDOC number 153745. That's her inmate number. Okay, she's in custody, age 50, and this is this the Idaho Department of Corrections? Interesting. So I guess because, well, hold on. This individual is not currently in an IDOC facility. Okay. Please direct inquiries to the agency listed above. I don't know what they mean by that. IDOC sentence information, data current as of 3:34 a.m. Then witching hours, you know. November 30th, 2023. Resident client search details for Lori Noreen Vallow. Offense, grand theft. Sentencing, Fremont. Case number CR 22-21-1624. Sentence, satisfaction date, life. Offense is criminal conspiracy. Sentencing, County, Fremont. Case number CR 22-21-1624. Sentence, satisfaction date, life. Okay, these are, I guess, her charges that she got sentenced for. I'm sorry, I'm not well versed in this arena, so I'm just reading it verbatim. I don't really know what it means to summarize it up. Murder 1, CR 22-21-1624, life. Okay. And then this was from Trace, and it's Kirk Nurmi, and it's a Twitter post or X post, Twitter now X, and it says, let me do this because it bothers me. Oh, it still bothers me. I'm weird. Call me anal. I'll take it. I think it's raining. Yep, it is. It's raining. It says Kirk Nurmi, Lori Vallow in Maricopa County. My sympathy for her lawyer. But at least they know what is coming. In 2009, Jodi Arias was not the household name that #cult mom is. So that was put out today. And I put this up there because it was worth this to them. And I think Chad should have his fat ass down here too. I said it. His fat ass. His fat chin ass. Whatever. Okay. Look how happy they were. And he's pulling the whole pity party. Oh, he's doing the persecution complex that we see so many times over and over and over again with all these idiots. Okay. And it's gross. They're gross. And that's why, you know, darkness always comes to light. Know that. I know it doesn't always happen in a timely manner like we expect it to. And I think that's to be expected. And if we expect anything different, then that's just hell on us. That's hell on our lives. So, trying to think. She looks so surprised, right? She's like, "Oh, hello, I was sleeping. I was getting my beauty sleep." And this is exactly where this picture right here is exactly where remember when Colby appeared? This is the same area, room, or whatever. Let's see what y'all are saying. Let me see what y'all are saying. Hello. It's raining, and I like it. I love rain. It's not rained a lot here. They just lifted the burn ban, so now I get to burn shit again. Yay. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you guys was, let me stop doing that so I can do this. Make sure, let me hunt them down. Okay. Share screen. We're going to look at this. I think it's very important right now. Yes, it's okay to give him my address. Mary. That way I can answer you now if you're listening. Okay. Let's go to this one. This is body cam footage. I'm trying to scooch it up a little bit. So dark.
So what's going on tonight?
I can't get in touch with my kids.
How old are your kids?
6.5 and 16. Okay.
How long have you been trying?
2 days.
Okay.
But she's lost her mind. I don't know how to say it. We're LDS. She thinks she's a resurrected being and a God, and remember the 144,000. Jesus is coming next year. She took all the money out of her bank account today. My truck had gone from the airport. She went to the airport and got it. I just flew in from Dallas. So
Where's your truck?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't help it. I can't help the sound. I wish. Let me remove myself so y'all can at least read it.
So you did the petition?
Yeah, they ordered pickup.
Okay. What time did you do that?
Hour and a half ago.
Okay. So what makes her a danger to herself and to others?
She threatened me, murder me, kill me.
She threatened to murder you?
Yes. And she said,
how did she do that?
My bishop right there is in the car. He was on the phone with me today when she said, "I will have you destroyed." Is what she said there.
Okay, that's not a threat to kill you.
Yesterday was a threat to kill me.
Okay. What did she say yesterday?
She said, "You're not Charles. I don't know who you are, what you did with Charles, but I can murder you now with my powers."
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna kill you too. Yesterday was
So she's speaking as a spiritual being.
She's not here. She's lost her reality.
Is this just all recent, or has it been going on?
It's been going on for about 4 or 5 years. It's gotten really, really bad lately. She goes to the temple every day and speaks with Moroni and Jesus Christ, and they tell her what to do. And now she came to her today, and last couple of days she says, "I'm not Charles. You're not Charles. You're Nick Schneider." I don't know where she gets this name from. She got all this stuff from these people in Utah who tell her how many past lives she's had and probation she's had. And she's was married to Moroni way back when, and she was also married to James the Just. And
okay, this is all foreign to me. So
it's foreign to me.
Well, I'm not LDS.
It's crazy stuff.
I know you're using LDS terms here.
But it's just she's nonsensical.
Okay.
And I haven't seen my.
Is he the older one or the younger one?
He's 6.5 years old.
Okay.
Okay. I want to do this now. You've got a pickup order. Am I correct?
We do.
Okay. If she doesn't answer, what do we do?
If she doesn't answer, we can't enforce the order.
Can I break into my house?
Do you live there?
Okay, I'm gonna show you something else.
Do you guys have any orders of protection against you?
No
police reports?
No.
Okay.
So how does she pose a threat to your children? She's gonna hurt them. You don't even know if she's here, right?
Thank you for calling Legal in General. My name is Pam.
Oh, hold on.
Policy number.
I gotta stop
Yeah,
there.
I'm the agent, and the owner,
Hold on.
George,
Shit.
name is Charles.
What I'm saying is
Vallow,
only
he
park
is
two
Victor,
vehicles in the garage.
A-L-O-W, social.
So it's possible.
I don't know.
Ready?
I don't think she could take my truck and that's why at the same time they put him somewhere else. She said to me, all your stuff is gone.
Hold on.
All the stuff is gone. You're not-
Okay, so you're calling,
And how long have you been
whose social is that?
The owner, and the agent.
Okay. Can I have your mailing address, please? Did you change it with a customer service representative?
Yes, ma'am, this morning, about more than an hour ago.
A 1000%. Me too.
Now, did you change it as an agent or as a policy owner? I'm not seeing.
Both.
Wow. Right?
Do you know who you spoke to?
I didn't write it down, ma'am. I'd rather I had to.
So
You
aggravated.
gotta take care of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to see if that was passed. Let me just see one moment.
Well, here's my question. We'll go back to that at the address.
Okay.
I got on my banking statement, it says stop payment reviewed, item paid, banner line, 50750. Why would the stop payment be put on that? Who did that?
Who did that?
Okay.
Hmm.
No, stop payment on.
The previous payment, automatically EFT.
It's set to draft. It just drafted on February 15th. It's going to draft again on March 15th.
But why does it say on the banking statement, stop payment reviewed?
I don't have an answer on that. Yeah, I don't have an answer on because that one, there's nothing noted here to stop payment. Everything.
We're good, Chip. I really, we're good. I appreciate your time. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
survey your address. I'm just. Do you want me to?
Okay.
Because what we have here, let's see, the B
My
Code
business
Road.
address is my business address is. Okay, my home address, I have two homes. My home address is in Gilbert, Arizona.
Okay, so all correspondence are going to go to the 3300 B Code Road. If I change that, all your, as an agent, will go to that address too. So I
That's
think,
fine. I still give them both places.
okay, all right, you're all good then. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. I've got, is there any kind of identity lock or something I put on my, anybody that calls in on my, policy so I can, I'm changing the insured to my sister, for my special needs son, as administrator. Can I put a lock or something, a code they have to give if anybody calls asking about my policy? Is that possible? Will you guys do that?
Right, so I can put a special password, so you have to remember that because every time you call, you have to repeat that, all right? All right, let me have your, it's a,
Can it be forwarded number?
absolutely.
Absolutely is a word that's always used by all these people, including my uncle. Absolutely. Stands
Give
out.
no information to anyone that has that doesn't have that password.
Absolutely, that's what that's there for, so every time you call,
Thank you.
okay, you have a great day, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, okay. Sorry. This is back in my day. Okay, the other one I want to show you guys that I think is very important is this hooker. It's probably got music in it. Let me see. Come on. Well, how long is it? What the hell? There we go. I just have to give it time to catch up, I guess.
Yeah. She tells him that just like you are.
All right, back it up.
Oh, look how he's behaving. He's so different now. He's this and that and this and that. Well, Charles was upset because she just tried to destroy his life. She told him, he was out of town when she found out, and he was in another state. And when she flew back home, she took his truck and hid it, took all the keys and took them from him. I mean, trying to destroy. I think that's a bit extreme. Like, are you sure you're supposed to do that? She goes, no, the spirit told me exactly what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, I can say, And so
I cut the lady out of it.
She tells him to destroy. She's like, you are not Charles anymore. You are Ned. I forgot his last name. Snyder. You're Ned Snyder, and you're not gonna. I am. She told him. I think she told him prior to this, but she was translated. She was married to Moroni before. So yeah, she's already telling him this stuff, and not smart. She should have kept that information to herself. So he gets me to come over to his house. He breaks into the house, and she's picking up the kids. He's still it's a lot of drama on that. But anyway, he says to me, and I thought it was Lori, but he had a cell phone, so freaking me out, and it's him, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I talked to him, and he's like, Melanie, Lori's crazy. Like, she thinks that I'm this guy named Ned, and that she's trying to destroy my life, and I'm like, I just don't know what to say.
Okay, hold on. It's only letting me do it on widescreen, so let me get it over to where I can look at you guys too and see what y'all are saying. Let me open that in another tab.
So, and Alex, bless his heart, who passed away.
Bless his fucking heart.
Yeah, she's in Jesus. I'm really believing it. She really saw these things. And I'm just gullible as gullible gets. And she stuck on me like Velcro. She was such a good friend to me. You know what I mean? Like, she was close to me. So I just stood there and didn't know what to say to him. And then he hugged me and he was crying. I look back now and go, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you don't.
So basically, she sets it up where he sets it up. He's going to come into town, when he passes away, and they have a shoot down. He dies, and
a shoot down
out of self-defense. But the police officer told me that it was not the guy that.
And by they, she means Alex, because you don't go to a fight. You don't go to a fist fight with a gun. Okay, straight up.
Alex that shot him, he didn't even really get hit that hard in the head. So, and Alex, bless his heart, who passed away, he just thought he was doing a favor to his sister. He didn't really care so much, to self-defense, yes. Well, they planned it. So she knew that Charles was coming to town. And then she invited Alex over that night to spend it. They're going to come and try to kill her. I said, well, why are we're going to try to kill you? And she says, well, because I have a $3 million policy on my head, and my brother and my husband and my nephew are all zombies now, and they all want me dead. Oh, yeah, it gets crazy. So anyway, they have the shoot down.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to go back and look in the text now, because in the FOIA docs, because when did they become zombies? Alex became a zombie. And Adam and Zach. Y'all know what I mean? Anyways.
And she grabs his phone and they fight over that. And then Tylee, her daughter, picks up the bat and tries to defend herself or hit him or whatever. She doesn't like him anyway. And she doesn't like anybody. And so, anyway, they shoot him. And so I talked to the police officer. He goes, she was really happy for somebody to just had her husband shot dead. She was like, oh, how are you? She's real positive and upbeat. And I was like, oh, that's not normal behavior for somebody that gets blown away in your front row. And that would traumatize me. But anyway,
shut up.
So she's told to move up to Rexburg. The Lord tells her, move up to Rexburg now. take Tyler and JJ with her. Tyler and JJ are up there. I know she's up there with both of them because I can hear them on the phone in the background while she's packing and moving in. And then she tells me, I don't know, within a week or two that Tyler is now at BYU. He's up there. She's up there at school. So I go up to visit her, and I see that Tyler is not there. And I said, hey, you know, Tyler's, I mentioned again, like Tyler went to BYU. And she goes, yeah, but she gave me this really creepy look. Yeah, it was creepy. It was like, yes, she's dead, really. And yeah, almost that kind of look. But then I didn't know what to think about it at the time. I was like, why do I feel creepy when she looks at me like that? You know. So anyway, then she tells me I get there into September 23rd weekend, and JJ is missing. No, JJ's not missing. Sorry, JJ's there, and she tells me he's a zombie now, and so was Tyler. Yes, the people that are zombies, they don't end up staying alive. And so I say, okay. She says, I'm just going to give him back to Kay, grandmother. And I said, well, that sounds like a good idea. Then you guys move on with your missions. Just, you know, just tell her to take Kay.
So the people that were protecting the kids from, right, so to speak, she's now going to give them to, or going to give JJ to the very people that it don't make sense. It don't check out. This bitch right here needs to go to jail.
She'll take JJ. I mean, it's a lot of work. You think she'll take, no, yeah, I'm hoping so. I'll just have to make something up. I said, well, you know, tell her
you don't have to make shit up.
You just have some illness and that you're not able to.
That's just it. You don't have to make shit up. You don't have to make anything up. You just say, hey, here. And then, yes. I mean, you don't have to make up a damn excuse. It's stupid. Their logic is stupid. It's upside down and backwards.
So, you know, he's a handful. And so, and plus it's not her kid anyway, right?
And plus it's not her kid anyway, right? So let me just continue to sharpen up my story that I'm telling some stranger on Facebook online. That way I can, you know, recite this to the world, because I was really there the night JJ was murdered. And I knew about all these zombies and them turning into zombies. And you know what happens to zombies? You know what happens to zombies, Melanie Gibb. You know what happens to zombies. We didn't. We had to find out later.
Them from Kay's family. Yeah, as a baby. And so, and plus it's not her kid anyway, right? Them from Kay's family. Yeah, as a baby. Yeah, he was a drug baby. And she was a really good mom.
And she was a really good mom. This bitch just said she was a really good mom. Oh.
From Kay's family. Yeah, as a baby. Yeah, he was a drug baby. And she was a really good mom too. She was really patient with him and very loving.
So patient, so freaking loving.
I saw her.
I feel sorry for her. I'm sorry for her kids. I need to try not to cuss.
Very loving too. And yeah, she was hands down. She was a great mom, patient, very
hands
patient.
Down.
So anyway, so she told me, she's like, yeah, JJ is at grandma's house. Yeah, she went. So after I left, and I saw JJ.
And she met my mom. Whenever my mom was helping Uncle Charles pack, Melanie showed up with Lori. That's when my mom overheard. My mom was in another room. She overheard Lori telling Charles, you know, he said, I'm gonna go move closer to I'm gonna move to Houston, closer to my family. She says, what family? What family? He said, my family. I mean, that right there is like her being manipulative, you know, like a narcissist does, where she's obviously done this so many times before, right? Isolating, like, you don't have family. I'm your family. You need me, you know?
JJ right before I left, and she said within a week or so, you know, that he had gone to Kate's house, and that, you know, that's where he was.
So that'll make sense.
So then Tammy's dad dies, and then she's in Hawaii when it happens, and I call her in Hawaii, and I say, hey, guess what?
Little rat, little snitch.
You know, Tammy just died. Do you know this? And she goes, no, I haven't heard it yet. And
it's 6 o'clock in the morning here in Hawaii. That doesn't even make sense either.
Well, what happened? What happened to Tammy? And she goes, well, she was a zombie 2 weeks before.
How did Laura tell her? Hold on.
No, Tammy just died. Do you know this? And she goes, no, I haven't heard it yet. And well, what happened?
So why would Melanie be asking Unless, wait, hold on. I might be taking it out of context.
When it happens, and I call her in Hawaii and I say, hey, guess what? You know, Tammy just died. Do you know this? And she goes, no, I haven't heard it yet. And I said, well, what happened? What happened to Tammy? And she goes, well, she was
Okay, right there. So why would Melanie saying that she called Lori, and Lori had not heard the news about Tammy yet, but and then Melanie proceeds to ask Lori what happened to Tammy. If she didn't know, why would Lori know that, what happened?
hey, guess what? You know, Tammy just died. Do you know this? And she goes, no, I haven't heard it yet. And I said, well, what happened? What happened to Tammy? And she goes, well, she was a zombie 2 weeks before she died. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah, she was starting to question our relationship. She was wondering if she was having an affair. I said, oh.
This bitch knew.
And so, and I said, well, how did she die? She goes, well, we just had to do what we could to take her out of her spirit. And I was like, okay. I'm thinking she said a prayer and spirit went home. That's what I'm thinking, right?
And this hooker right here, Melanie, was like, and all I did was pray to Jesus. And Audrey, all I did was pray to Jesus because I don't know the Lord that they worship, basically.
And she did some kind of like blessing or something, you know, like they
F their blessings, okay? Never accept one from any of these people. They're not the same.
People can do that.
From my experience.
So anyway, then this is where it all changes for me.
Oh, I'm glad this is where it all changes for you, Melanie. So
anyway, then this is where it all changes for me. And so then I get a call from Chad 2 days before Thanksgiving.
So November, what, 27th, 26th, 25th? I don't remember when it was in all of 2019.
Hey, Melanie, Rexburg Police is going to call you. Don't answer. And I went, what? And my stomach just dropped. And I said, what happened? Well, police are over at
Get it together.
House, and they're looking for JJ. And she told them that JJ was with you. And I went, what?
So it was November 28th.
I thought JJ was at Grandma's house.
It was November 28th. I just looked on the calendar. That's when Thanksgiving was. Shit, I gotta go to it again. One more, okay. November 28th was Thanksgiving, so the 26th is when she's saying that Chad called. It was a Tuesday. Okay. Sorry about that. All right.
Lori's house, and they're looking for her. And I said, what happened? Well, police are at Lori's house, and they're looking for JJ. And she told them that JJ was with you. And I went, what? I'm like, well, I thought JJ was at Grandma's house. He's not there, is he? And they're like, he's like, no, he's not. I'm like, what? And I don't know. Honestly, I did not know what to think at this time. I was so shocked. Like, my whole spirit was like, what happened?
Her whole spirit was like, what happened? What a freak.
I was so shocked. Like, my whole spirit was like, what happened? I was freaking out inside. And then I get a phone call from the police. Of course, I ignore it. And then...
Of course, I ignore it. Of course, I ignore it.
And then I get a phone call from the police. Of course, I ignore it. And then Lori calls me, and she's like, oh, no, everything's fine. I just told police with you that you're going to take him down to Arizona. And I'm like, why? Like, what happened? And she's like, well, JJ was, we thought that JJ was going to get kidnapped by Kay, so we're protecting him.
Now, does that make any damn sense?
Why? Like, what happened? And she's like, well, JJ was, we thought that JJ was going to get kidnapped by Kay, and so we're protecting him.
We thought he was going to get kidnapped. We thought that JJ was going to get kidnapped from Kay. So we were going to protect him. From what?
We thought that JJ was going to get kidnapped by Kay, and so we're
but hold on. Because this bitch just, I'm sorry, this, I need not to cuss. She's triggering though. Earlier, she said something different. And then now she's saying something different.
why? Like, what happened?
Wait, let me back it up.
Get a phone call from the police, of course I ignore it. And then Lori calls me and she's like, oh no, everything's fine. I just told police with you that you're gonna take him down to Arizona. And I'm like, why? Like, what happened? And she's like, well, JJ was, we thought that JJ was going to get kidnapped by Kay, so we're protecting him, and which is a lie. And well, I believe it was a lie. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, well, I gotta go. And I was just didn't know what to say. I was just so dumbfounded by it all. And anyway, so I go down to Arizona, and her brother's down there, just down the street from me because he's married my friend who's in my ward.
Her brother? Her brother?
And and I was just didn't know what to say. I was just so dumbfounded by it all.
Alex.
And anyway, so I go down to Arizona, and her brother's down there, just down the street from me because he's married my friend who's in my ward.
So Zulema's in her ward, right? And so Gabe Bonilla is in her ward. Gabe Bonilla is the bishop who Charles talked to, and the state president, according to Adam Cox. His phone call with the detective in Arizona.
Her name's Zulema. And so I said, hey, are you around? And so anyway, I said, hey, let's meet, we need to talk. So I said, hey, Alex, I said, do I want to know what happened to JJ?
No, you're a snitch.
And he says, no, you don't want to know. I went, what?
You already knew.
She goes, I told Lori she should have never got you involved in this. And I'm like, yeah. She should have never got me involved. That was not smart. And
it was not smart. Not true, just not smart.
And then he said, yeah, the police ransacked my house, took my guns, and I'm like, I wonder why they did that. I couldn't figure that out at the time.
Liar.
And I just figured, they kept telling me that, they had a lot of bad people working for them, that now the cops are zombies. And so
2 of the cops are zombies. This is the hooker right here, Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend at the time. Okay, that they were cheating on their spouses because they were not divorced yet. Okay. I can tell you what happened.
So anyway, so I'm starting to get like really creepy feelings, and then so anyway, one of my friends, he was with me. He goes home, and he calls me up, and I'm like, he's like, Melanie, I'm really worried about your testimony. I'm like, what? Why are you worried about my testimony?
Yeah,
and
we're all worried about it.
Okay, I need you to be a friend. Let's talk. I said, okay, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the zombie thing. What do you think? And he knew what was going on and stuff. And I said, I don't have a testimony of it. Like, I'm not sure what to think about all this stuff. And he goes, oh my gosh, me too. He goes, I just never have a testimony of Chad and Lori. And so all of a sudden, this heaviness that was on him was leaving him. Just the heaviness of just keeping trying to pray about they were really who they were. And he was not getting an answer about it. And anyway, the heaviness leaves him. And it's David Warwick. You know who he is, right? He was the guy that was speaking of dreams and visions when you were watching. Didn't you watch? Yeah, he was the one that was speaking, the guy with the brown hair. He was speaking about his visions.
My booty buddy.
But yeah, he's such a sweetheart. I really like him. But anyway, he's been questioning all of this because he's really had amazing visions. And he's like, this is really not comfortable for me, Melanie. Like, this is really jacked up. And anyway, we talked till 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was like coming to Jesus, and I was feeling the stomach, that deep pit stomach thing, the wrong, feeling it gut going, something's wrong. So I call Sulema, and I'm like, hey Sulema, like what did Alex say? I'm getting a bad feeling. I'm not sure what to think about this. And she goes, well, I don't, she'll tell me what her testimony was of Chad and how he got it, gave her a blessing, made her also part of the 144,000, and said she was translated too. And then said she basically started having visions after this. Okay. She had a testimony of Chad that he was a real visionary. So I said, well, what did Alex tell you? What happened? And she said, well, all he said to me was, you don't want to know. No. He said, they won't be able to be found. He won't be able to be found. I said, you know what? I'm not really feeling good about this, Selena. I said, you know what? I'm not really feeling good about this, Selena. And she had just married him. Like, she had just married him. And because, that Chad and Laura were like, get married, hurry, you probably have 45,000. And so they got married quickly. And so, anyway, it was not good. And so I said, I'm going to have to call the police. Like, I'm feeling really bad about this, And
Hold on. My computer, I just froze it. Come on.
Hey, y'all. I'm guessing that Krisha got booted and that she will be back. So, till then, we'll talk amongst ourselves. And it's just so exciting. We got so much news this week, about the cameras for Chad, which is a good thing, even such as it is, even though they're not going to be the news cameras.
Sorry.
And we knew you were coming back.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how long I've been out. Well, hell. Yeah, I was like, okay, she done broke my computer. Oh, hooker.
It was
Anyways,
whenever you froze, and then after that,
well,
you went
yeah.
away. So.
But what was Melanie still playing? Huh? I was like, oh crap, I went to search something else and then anyways. You think cameras will likely I think the cameras will be like Lori's sentencing. Sorry about my technical glitches. It goes with them Arizona bitches. Oh, Melanie Gibb is so freaking triggering to me. Oh my god. I can tell you my theory. It's not a very I would anyways, that's what I was trying to search in my task bar, in my search bar. All right, let me see. Hold on. Okay. It would be this one here. Now I gotta search for the keyword real quick. Because it's something that I found that I'm like, oh my god. If it does, it has to. I don't know. Yeah. Oop, I hit the wrong thing. Try that again. Control G. All right. Now let me go look for hunting. Janelle Murphy is not here. That's good. Other people are live right now too. And I mean, just hear me out on this. anyways, maybe I should do this for another live stream because it's pretty controversial. But just I really don't know. So, don't hate me. Just I'm exploring. It's what I do. It's difficult research. It's not easy. I don't know if it exists, but it sounds pretty in the context of everything. I'm going to show you something right after this. Also, we're just going to hear this little snippet. It's from Galactic Storyteller, of a guy named J.R. Sweet. And I think that DJ Norman would be able to corroborate something like this. I'm looking for the right tab. Hold on. That just started playing. Hold on. Okay. Share. And so it's these, okay. It's all about SRA. Anyways, just hear this. It's weird, but it's weird. So brace yourself for some very controversial, weird shit.
Hi everyone. Welcome back to Galactic.
Well, damn. Let me search it again. God dang it. Hunting. Okay, right here. And maybe he's gonna use some adult triggering words. Also, I can't edit those, not live.
And it was a nightmare. And then they threw us in the back of the truck and they drove us back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
This was all done on a huge estate there in Oklahoma, out in the middle of nowhere, a fenced off estate.
Did you ever see that movie, The Hunting Games?
Sounds like it.
What was that?
I know you're very careful about the kind of information that you take in and that you're around. But Hollywood put out, I don't know if it was just one movie or a series called The Hunting Games or The Hunger Games. I think I just saw a part of one of them. And this is what they were doing. They showed this as part of Hollywood, that they would send individuals out and hunt them. Only I think they gave a softball version of what really is happening.
Yeah, they do that. Harry Potter's the same way. It's about black magic, Harry Potter, and the underground world of the satanic elite and the intelligence community, which is the satanic elite's arm. And so the Hunger Games, in my mind, is just about that. It's about the most dangerous game. They give you clues. They mock us. They mock the people's intelligence about these matters all the time through music, through movies, through various forms. And people say, wow, that's so horrible, but they're introducing those concepts into people's minds. And I'm afraid of what the world will be like in 50 years after these concepts have been introduced and then presented in the real world and then turned into something that's good. Because in Satanism, up is down. Good is bad. I don't know that we warned the viewers before we started this interview, but these are some triggers that I'm talking about. Up is down, and so I'm concerned about the world that my children will be living in, not just because they come from my family bloodline and the CIA and the satanic elite are going to want them, but because of the direction the world's headed in social engineering.
Yes, and they're grooming society right now to be ever more accepting of pedophilia and what is this, MAPS, minor attracted people or something like that.
I don't know.
So, yeah, that's instead of being called a pedophile, the now socially acceptable word is you're a MAP or a minor attracted person, which is really just a softball term for pedophile. People
you're
have
a scumbag.
that word, right?
You're a scumbag.
But that's what they're doing, is they're grooming our society to be ever more accepting of debauchery in all of its forms.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about Bishop's storehouses. We have not
Okay, hold on.
introduced really any sort of Mormon factor into your story, but the reality for you is that about what that is, because I believe.
And at that moment,
Okay, hold
with
on.
bullets
Yeah,
going
it's back
by,
here.
my
I'm sorry.
cousin screaming, absolutely horrid. Yeah, yeah. And so that's a difficult one because I witnessed human trafficking, for example, under the Disneyland theme park.
Mhm.
That little girl in
I'm just hear 'em
1984
out.
that I witnessed murdered by my grandfather
Mhm.
was held there in a cage. And I don't know who her parents were. When I called the FBI and tried to talk to them about exactly that, they said, well, whose child was she? I don't know. How am I to know whose child it was? I'm trying to explain to you that there are children being held under the park
I don't.
and they're being trafficked and they're being used. A lot of children in the project are disposable
Mhm.
and they are used specifically for programming. When I was made to play the most dangerous game in Oklahoma,
This is crazy.
they brought
Wow.
along, there was a bunch of us there. There was the Hiltons, there was the Ford family, there was, I don't remember exactly who it was. It was a country musicianist family. And there was us, my cousin, my younger cousin and I. And then there was a van load of orphans. And those orphans were there as cannon fodder in order to essentially be killed in front of our eyes. That's what happened with me and my cousin. We tried to help a young girl and they killed her right in front of us. They just shot her. And it was
JR Sweet.
absolutely horrid, just awful. And
Nah.
orphans are used for that. They're disposable people for programming.
You know, we have in the United States upwards of 800,000 children that go missing every year. You don't hear about
He's
the
sensitive
majority of
to
these
the light.
kids. You might hear about one or two, but they're disappearing at huge rates. And I would imagine that a good number of them are being used for these rituals and these programs.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, Madeline. Yeah, that's something that tears me up to hear that the Biden administration, for example, and what is a border crisis, and these thousands
Okay, now
of unaccompanied minors. Well, what happens to these minors? Because these people are, they're sicker than your imagination can even go. And that's one reason it works for them, is because the average sane minded,
we
healthy
can't
minded
fathom these
individual could
things.
never even imagine such a
Yeah.
thing. It's so awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, this is, I talk a
Ugh,
lot
that's
about
cool.
that on this channel. It's
All right,
really hard.
now I'm going to show you this latest thing. Oh, I got to sign in first. Okay, hold on. Sign in to Salt Lake Tribune again. Every damn time. Okay. Right. Okay. Now I'm going to show you this right here. A story. And now this is for subscribers only for Salt Lake Tribune. This freaked me the frick out. Are Sean Reyes's helicopter hog hunting and luxury resort stays good for Utah? Reports revealed the GOP office holder has spent heavily on resort stays, domestic and international travel, and even a hunting spree in Texas with funds from supporters. Hold on. Hold your pearls. Okay. So this was November 12th, the day that President Russell Ballard died. Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes has traveled extensively since his 2020 reelection, with donors supporting more than 30 stints at high-end resorts across the country, in Mexico and in Europe, along with a Texas excursion to shoot feral hogs from a helicopter. These people need, they're so bored, okay? These rich people. His public campaign reports also list nearly 135 separate airline ticket expenditures and a hefty share of restaurant bills, cab and Uber fares, airport parking fees, and other travel-related expenses in cities such as Vegas, Phoenix, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Atlanta, San Diego, and Santa Barbara. The spending by his campaign on domestic and international travel, documented over a 3-year period ending in 2022, includes the previously unpublicized group excursion to hunt hogs with high-powered rifles. And I looked this club up, and you can't just go to this club's page. Hold on, I'm about to tell you. This Gold Star families, family members. I'll show you. I'll show you better. I can tell you. And so it's another nonprofit organization. You got to have a freaking password just to enter into just to research further than this. How America's Gold Star families, supporting our fallen heroes and their families. Okay. So I couldn't get past all of this. Anyways, so just know that. Just put a tab in that. Okay. All right. So now donors and Gold Star family members joined Utah's top law enforcement officer on the chartered helicopter flight, part of a 2-day tour guided by a state-sanctioned depredation program, a campaign spokesman said. The hunt cost at least $46,752, according to Reyes's disclosures, not including a related $10,000 hotel bill or nearly $3,000 spent days earlier on a block of 7 airline tickets. The extent of Reyes's campaign travels come to light as he faces scrutiny over his close relationship with Tim Ballard. Okay. In 2 recently filed lawsuits, 6 women have accused Ballard of sexual assault and other misconduct at OUR, the nonprofit Tim founded, right? Reyes's work and friendship with Ballard have led some Utah lawmakers to question his focus as Attorney General and to suggest the job should be filled through an appointment by the governor rather than through election, right? In a written statement to the Salt Lake Tribune, Reyes said when he took office in 2013, he vowed to keep campaign and office finances separate. It ties in. Quote, I will remain steadfast, unquote. That's something that one of the leaders, I can't think of his name. He looks younger. DJ would know his name. I can't think of it right now. Quote, in using state funds for official business and campaign funds for any travel or work deemed political in nature. Stand fast. I don't know. When I do have to travel, I am proud to represent Utah on issues of national importance, Reyes said. Whether in DC or other areas, it's imperative Utah has a strong voice and representation. So he's saying he's going there representing Utah. Okay. Reyes's chief campaign consultant, Alan Crooks, who has been named by Len Packer in his video op-ed series. Go check them out on not Facebook, even though I think they're on there through American Crime Journal and on YouTube. Okay. Also defended Reyes's donor-funded travel from 2020 to 2022, saying it does not reflect the state attorney. It does not reflect the state attorney general diverting his attention away from duties and responsibilities in the Beehive State. I beg to differ. Quote, these expenditures say nothing about AG Reyes's focus and dedication to Utah. He told the Tribune in an email response to written questions. Quote, he spends the majority of his time on state level issues in Utah and national level issues that impact Utah. And that's him right there. I'm going to pass it up though. Along with his campaign travel, Reyes made publicized trips to, I guess you say Qatar. I don't know how to say that. United Arab. I don't even know how to say that either. Emirates, the Mexican border, and the nation's capital during the 3-year period. Although Reyes is documented to have participated in one of Ballard's operation overseas, Crooks said no campaign funds have ever been used for travel related to OUR. But OUR was donating to Sean Reyes's ICAC team or whatever, and I'm sorry, I looked down at my phone. Yeah, so, and it wasn't. It's like the money was allegedly misappropriated. Okay, by Reyes. The Reyes campaign report. Oh my God, the Reyes campaign reported spending a total of $491,206. My math don't math that high, okay? Because I don't even know how much money that is. In 2022, when the popular Republican faced no election, he made trips to the Mexican resort cities of Acapulco and Los Cabos. Oh my God, I can't talk today more than ever. And Los Cabos that year, and attended a private retreat with policymakers, technology CEOs, and business leaders in a suburb of Lisbon, Portugal, known as Dialogue Global. I Googled that, and it was just one of those landing pages that you're just like, okay, what do you do from here? According to the campaign. His stay for that event at the Ritz-Carlton Penalonga Resort. Okay, I'll show you that. Is this. Okay. That's pretty nice and lavish. Just saying. It's where your tax dollars are going, Utah. He's got to represent Utah. Yo. Just gross. Anyways. All right, let me go back. All right. Then, okay. A lavish golfing destination touted for its, quote, luxury without limits, unquote. It cost $1,660. Okay. Reports show it was one of at least 4 dialogue retreats Reyes attended over the 3-year period, campaign reports show, sometimes listed as, quote, campaign expense, unquote, and other times as, quote, consulting services, unquote. Organizers of the yearly conference, reportedly created by billionaire and PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel sometime before 2015, did not respond to a request for information. He hangs out with this dude. And so didn't, what's his name? Oh my God. Elon Musk. Didn't he create PayPal too? Just saying. These are the people they hang with. Ken Grove. Connections and constituents. Why Reyes says he travels. The trips that were covered by campaign funds and disclosed in campaign filings do not include taxpayer-funded travel that is part of Reyes's duties. To better understand the full scope of Reyes's travel, the Tribune also filed an open records request seeking a daily calendar. Now, he's fighting this right now, okay? Outlining his schedule over the past 5 years. But Assistant Attorney General Lonnie Pearson, I don't know, earlier this month rejected the Tribune's request. Rejected it. Said, no. Saying the office, quote, does not maintain an official schedule for the Attorney General, unquote. Protection, right? And that the calendar Reyes maintains it's not a public record. The Tribune is appealing that decision. The Attorney General's office has already taken another news agency to court in an effort to keep Reyes's schedule private. A KSL TV, Mormon-owned, reporter sought his schedule last year, and Utah's State Records Committee ruled this. So I hate the way they're worded sometimes. Ruled in May that it was public information and ordered its release. The Attorney General's office appealed that decision to a district court judge a month later, and that lawsuit is still pending. Crooks, Alan Crooks, right, initially told the Tribune that, quote, for the most part, travel and lodging listed on campaign reports were incurred by A.G. Reyes, unquote, with a few exceptions where Crooks himself also went along, he said, including on one of the trips to Mexico. The political consultant and longtime associate of Reyes later not disqualified, but later qualified that assertion, saying, quote, at least probably half, unquote, of the campaign's hotel tabs, airline tickets, and other travel-related costs were incurred by Crooks himself, whether he was traveling with Reyes or in some cases on his behalf. The expenditures, he added, also have helped support fundraising, paid travel expenses for Reyes' speaking engagements, or to reciprocate in entertaining visiting dignitaries who had hosted Reyes overseas. In the case of the Texas hunting trip, think about the field that's right down the road from Chad Daybell's house. Go look at Lauren's channel, Hidden True Crime, and it was around the time, I don't know the name of the title of the I think it's Alex Cox's pings, okay? This is where Alex Cox's pings pinged from on their way back from Yellowstone with Tylee and JJ. And just, I want to go to that field, and I think somebody had mentioned it before. Bring some damn metal detectors, right? Because something happened. I'm telling you, that's where it happened. And it reminds me of the hunting game, this whole most dangerous game. Just saying. It just resonates. It's wild, outlandish. So is the rest of the story. Okay, all right. In the case of the Texas hunting trip, he said it was partly a fundraiser and partly a charitable gesture made possible by Reyes donors and on behalf of Gold Star families who've lost relatives serving in the military. I'm skittish over these nonprofits again. I was before, because I was like, wait, this is because I was looking to start a nonprofit, and then the little bit of time I was able to designate to do that, and I noticed along the way that all these Mormons, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm just saying a lot of these people have all these LLCs. I'm sorry, all these nonprofits, and then they're funneling them allegedly into for-profit ventures. We see this right now happening in the investigation, the lawsuits being filed in behalf of the victims of Tim Ballard, of Sean Reyes, all these nonprofit organizations. Again, go check out Len Packer's video op-ed series on Operation Underground Railroad. He's done like 30 something of them over the last 4 years. And I've kept up with those, just never really knew where it tied into Chad and Lori's story. Just knew that it did, and I was just kind of side-eyeing it the whole time, right? And I always thought it was the whole Melanie Pulowski, which I can show you where I found that. Finally, I can show you. I got to finish this too, but I just want to pull this up because it has to do with Melanie Pulowski. It's on J is for Justice, and it was an interview with Carl Danger. Okay, can't remember his name. Now, hold on, I'm just pulling it up that way I can switch to it real quick. He did like a timeline, and that's the second person I've heard it from as far as Melanie Pulowski allegedly attending an OUR function while in Hawaii when Audrey was there. Lori was there. She donated allegedly $6,000 to the cause. It's one of those things I just want to know about. I've heard about it, just never could corroborate. I don't know where Carl Danger got the information from. But it's something I've said over and over again that I couldn't, corroborate it. It's just hearsay. And anyway, so I go back and I watch a lot of things over again, because what I knew then is nothing compared to what I know now. So again, let me pull it up. Allegedly. It could be. Look, I didn't even know there was a subreddit on it. So there's that. Let me go to the videos. That way. Because there's like 1, 2, 3. There's 3 different videos on it. They're all almost 3 hours long. Well, 2 hours, 56 minutes, 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 1 hour, 53 minutes. Here's one. I just don't remember which one. So we'll look at that in a minute. Okay, so a spokesperson with, I'm going back to this story, Salt Lake Tribune. A spokesperson with the Last Shadow in Temple, Texas, the company that guided the trip, said his firm is one of a handful in South Texas helping state parks and wildlife authorities with the eradication of invasive species. I know this happens. I mean, I know that this really does occur. Jason's going on 2 of these hunting trips, right? And feral hogs, I'm a hunter. I used to go hunting all the time. I love scouting. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've only killed a squirrel, 2 actually, and almost my boyfriend at the time, because he like, anyways, I made him hug me in the woods. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was scary. And things happen, but they stink. Feral hogs stink. You can smell them, and then they will charge you. I know that much. Anyways, I've never shot one, and I don't really care for the meat. It's too gamey for me. But all that aside, okay, feral hogs are targeted in light of the widespread damage they're causing. Spokesperson Mike Ayala, I don't know how to say it, said, with hunting enthusiasts paying for the experience. Asked about Reyes's airborne safari, Ayala, I don't know, I hate butchering people's names, said the company did not divulge, quote, any information on prior clients without their verbal and written consent, unquote. Last Shadow, according to the company, flies hunters on guided trips over more than 250,000 acres of private land across South Texas, and also offers ground-based night hunting with thermal vision goggles. Ayala, I don't know, declined to specify average per seat cost for Last Shadow's chopper rides, but its website says those run between $1,100 and $1,600 per freaking hour. And I tried playing this last night. After I ended the live stream yesterday, I read this article and on a pre-record, but it didn't play sound, so I was like, oh, shit.
Every year, feral hogs cause millions of dollars in property damage nationwide. These pigs spread disease, contaminate water sources, and destroy native species. With no natural predators, their population is out of control. Do your part in protecting your land against this invader and have the adventure of a lifetime while you're at it.
Movement left side there, guys. That was 10 or 12. Got to play a little game with the wind here to get situated. Okay, left side. Shoot that thing. There you go. Don't lead him. Don't lead him. Keep shooting. Oh, yeah. Nice. Let's shoot. Let's swing back around and we'll see if we can get these other ones back here. Go ahead and shoot him. There you go. Shoot him up. Nice work, guys. Nice work.
Unleash your inner beast. Fly with Last Shadow.
Okay, so there's that. Anyways, some other campaign travel expenses stem from trips Reyes or others have taken to support Utah constituents, Crook said, sometimes in urgent international affairs. Key parts of Reyes's travel, he said, are related to his leadership roles in groups such as the National Association of Attorneys General and Republican Attorneys General Association. These names are long, as well as advocacy on high-profile issues. Problems with immigration and border safety, human trafficking, and the illegal drug trade, Crook said, directly affect Utahns. And while other state and nationally elected officials frequently travel at taxpayers' expense, Crook said, Reyes chooses to fund his own through the largesse, I don't know how to say that either, of willing donors. of willing donors. The ones that were targeted, I'm asking for a friend. Just saying. Contacts, connections, and knowledge Reyes has built with his trips. Meanwhile, strengthen his job performance. I don't see any strengthening. Okay. It just, anyways, because all he's doing is monkeying off of and building up Tim Ballard. I found a video earlier, right before all this news dropped today, and I was like, oh my God. And I mean, it hasn't had but like 600 views. So, and it was years ago, but they really tell on themselves in this video, those two, Tim, and so does the other guy, Olson, uh, the new drug, something, the new drug. I don't know. And Sean, it's very eye-opening. Contacts connect. Okay. It helps. Oh, and it helps us leverage the power of Utah when we need to get something done. Okay. Egregious spending is the next topic, or the right thing. One Utah lawmaker, Senator Mike McKell, who's a Republican, Spanish Fork. That's where Brandon, or no, it was American Fork. My bad. And a member of the Senate Ethics Committee said he was shocked by the Reyes campaign's travel and spending. It's egregious, McKell said, that the Attorney General for the state of Utah in a non-election year can spend nearly $500,000 out of his campaign account to travel all over the world doing random stuff that is probably not relevant to his job as Attorney General. And that's a Republican, just like Reyes is a Republican. Okay. Okay. McKell said the situation also has rekindled a debate over how Utah's Attorney General is selected. So it sparked a debate. Quote, should the Attorney General be appointed? Unquote, McKell said. Or should we simply rein in campaign finance law and make sure the influence of money is minimized for the chief law enforcement officer in the state of Utah? Both. The senator also questioned whether Reyes' campaign supporters were fully aware of how their donations were being used. Quote, is what the donors had in mind, he asked, when they gave him the money. That was a question he asked. Crooks said some in Reyes' network of supporters have donated specifically to offset his travel costs. So they're all friends. Quote, that's what our donors have been so great about, unquote, he said. We tell them we need to offset this, we have a lot of traveling expenses. Can you donate? And they're like, yeah, what do you need? Okay. Several large donors to the Reyes campaign listed on his disclosures did not respond to requests for comment. But one who gave a smaller amount said he had no problem with how Reyes spent their funds. Casey Adams, a 49-year-old attorney living in Alpine, said he is a college friend, there you go, of Reyes and a fellow volleyball enthusiast. Adams was one of many lawyers who have donated to his campaign. Quote, I haven't found that I'm in a position to judge what's necessary for someone else to do their job. You do if you're a taxpayer. You damn well do. I'm not political. I'm just not. But that just doesn't even sound right to me. It sounds shitty. Adam said regarding his $2,500 donation in June of this year, quote, I've known him for a long time. I trust him. And so if he's doing it, it's probably the right thing, Adam said. Utah's campaign finance laws forbid spending on, quote, personal use expenditures, unquote, as in those which further a personal interest that is, quote, not connected with the performance of an activity as a candidate or an activity or duty of an office holder, unquote. Crook said the campaign had been steadfast in devoting donor dollars only to campaign activities, and that included travel, airfare, and hotel stays, as well as fundraising events, attendance at conferences, and intercessions on behalf of constituents. This is long. Okay, and so I just really wanted to show you guys the hunting trip thing. I'll kind of scroll to the end, and if you want to rewind and take screenshots and read it for yourself, you are more than welcome to do that, because you have to be a paid subscriber to even get this article on Salt Lake Tribune. $8 a month, one of the many. Okay, right here. This is important too. In 10 separate instances over a 3-year period, Reyes reported reimbursing himself from campaign coffers for, quote, travel expenses, unquote, for a total of $52,857 with no additional detail on what he even spent the money on. Reyes's disclosures show that most campaign expenditures pointing to a trip, lodging, out-of-town restaurant meals, or other substantial travel expenses were almost always followed within days by fees paid to Zion's Bank or Anadot, a digital fundraising platform used by political candidates and nonprofits. There you go. The campaign also reported nearly $7,600 paid over 3 years to Max Place, a membership-only club in Salt Lake City, which Crooks described as, quote, space for campaign meetings and other campaign events. Meaning, I'm gonna translate that for you. For lifestyles of the rich and the famous. Okay. Anyways, the Attorney General's stay outside Lisbon and in Santa Barbara for dialogue retreats, according to Crooks, were part of the Attorney General's annual attendance at the closed door event after he was first invited by Thiel, quote, years ago, as a thought leader across many issues, unquote. And so this is that Thiel guy. It says Peter Thiel at the Bitcoin conference, Thursday, April 7, 2022 in Miami, Florida. Reyes now regularly attends this event, his campaign consultant added, quote, at a deeply discounted rate on his own time, I doubt it, to stay ahead of the issues of the day with a bipartisan and progressive community, unquote. Quote, all expenses are paid by the campaign, unquote. Crooks continued, I hate when they do this, quote, or personally by A.G. Reyes. Anyways, the Attorney General's trip to Acapulco and related visits to other locals in the Mexican state of Guerrero in early 2022, as well as his trip to Los Cabos at the southern tip of the Baja California Peninsula in December of that year, both involved policy discussions in coordination with Mexican authorities, Crooks said. I'm just going to point to Operation Underground Railroad and the whole movie with Angel Studios by Tim Ballard, the Sound of Freedom, that one. Remember that one? There's like Mexican president involved. There's some really big wigs over there in Mexico. Okay, so I don't trust none of them. I don't, and I'm sorry if that offends anybody or whatever. I just don't. My family. This all goes into the making of Chad and Lori Daybell. Okay. One day it'll make sense, I guess, when enough comes to light, but I don't know how else to connect it. Months later, he said, when a Utahn was wrongfully arrested in Mexico, okay, I wonder for what, besides this car accident they're claiming. In connection with a car accident, Reyes was able to get the person freed, quote, by making a phone call, unquote, to one of his Mexican counterparts. Through Reyes's travels, Crooks added the, quote, the leverage you have and the ability you have to get things done is magnified many times. And that's good for Utah, unquote. Anyway, the end. So, and so the name of that article is, or Sean Reyes's helicopter hog hunting and luxury resort stays good for Utah. It just, again, there's some big elites that live in Rexburg area, and that's Frank Vandersloot. And he's somebody who was against Adam Steed when Adam Steed came out about his abuse from Boy Scouts of America. Frank Vandersloot was against that. Now, Frank Vandersloot owns East Idaho News. So there's that. He owns the Melaleuca Company, the wellness company that creates essential oils. Do y'all remember that with Lori and Chad and their doctrine, so to speak? The balms and stuff like that. Just anyways, and it's an MLM. So the Melaleuca plant is an MLM, and Ian Pulaski works for him. Okay, so there's that. There's all these things. Okay, I'm gonna look in this real quick and see if I can find it in the chat. or I'm sorry, not in the chat, in the transcript. As soon as I get to it. Okay, I hate how they put the transcript there now. Okay, so Control G. Yeah. And I gotta put Melanie. What the hell did it do? Show transcript again. Control G. No. Weird. I need it in here. There we go. And maybe this, I don't know.
Melanie.
Which one?
Oh, Melanie Pulowski.
Pulowski. All right. Well, where do you want me to start? Like what we first found out about her?
Yeah, I mean, I
Like
think pretty much everybody
who she
here
is?
knows the basics, like who she is. You know, Melanie P is Lori's niece.
Sorry.
Aunt Lori, right? Sister.
Let me pause it while I try to type this in. Operation Underground Railroad. I don't know why it's making that noise. No, it's not pulling those up. So I just want to make sure it's the right video, and I don't want to waste too much more of your time. Or let's see, Hawaii. Okay, here we go.
In Hawaii at the time, and this is when her mother's name was Stacy, and she was apparently on her deathbed. You know, didn't have long to live. She was extremely sick, and the whole family just packed up and left and went on vacation to Hawaii and left Alex.
Okay, we're gonna skip to
that
this.
he had attacked the third husband.
Yeah.
And that Lori had told her friend in Hawaii that she had had her brother try to kill Joe Ryan, Lori's third husband. So we knew Alex was.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna go to the next one.
I don't know if he has a bad temper. He just seemed like he was easily manipulated and controlled. Like Lori had something over him that he didn't want anyone else to know.
Gotta skip to this.
No, David goes back just like Ian with Chad. David was speaking at these events, and that's where him and Melanie met also. So first, they tried to save their own ass by finally just snitching after a while, but they still gave Chad and Lori enough time to escape Idaho and make it to Hawaii.
So was Ian involved with the preparing of people
thing?
See, that's what's weird because like a vow is one thing, preparing a people is one thing, Chad's Church of the Firstborn is one thing, the eldest churches.
Y'all want to hear something I heard a long time ago, but again, it's hearsay and I don't know where it came from, but there was, I don't know again where it came from, but something about Ian Pulowski and Chad had gone and sacrificed an animal in the church. And so I have no idea. I don't know. Whatever. I just remember that I wrote it down a long time ago. This is like when it first came out. It's nuts.
Another thing, but Chad uses all of these things to find people and recruit people from. And so that's what the confusion is where people want to say like the LDS church is behind it. No, they're not. They don't have anything to do with this.
Right. He's manipulated
I don't know about that. I disagree.
their church.
Of course, this was 3 years ago, so you know I don't know what he thinks, what Carl Danger thinks now. They have a Facebook group called True Crime Underground, which they pretty much, that's where who Lauren and Hidden True Crime uses. CC is Colette Coxon. That's one of the moderators for Hidden True Crime, and she is a moderator. I'm sorry, an admin for. She and Carl Danger are admins for True Crime Underground. All right, so I'm looking this up. I don't know about that other one. I'm gonna show you Hidden True Crimes video. Alex Cox pings. And that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. When I saw this, I about died. I don't know what you just sent me, Trace. I can't. It goes on my phone. If you're sending it to me, I don't know.
That no reporters taken any of you two before, and I wanted to share something. I actually don't know what happened here, but I'll tell you why I'm here. So the FBI CAS data had a lot of pings from Alex Cox's phone. And one of those pings, and we'll walk to it. I parked at the ping and I've been walking for a bit. So I'll take you to where the ping is in just a little bit. But one of the pings was a trail. It was a trailhead here that led to where I am. We don't know what happened here. We don't know if anything happened right here, but let me just show. Due east, about a half a mile exactly, is the Daybell residence. A neighbor has actually said that they didn't hear anything that they know of, but they did say that there's some world-class fishing right over here in this area. Maybe Alex was a fisherman, I don't know. But we're talking an hour and a half. His car, or not his car, we don't know, his phone, whoever had his phone, Alex's phone, let me be specific, was pinged outside on the street where I parked. I'm going to walk you to where I parked to get here for an hour and a half. I also don't think anyone would know anyone was here. There's a grove of trees. I've been wandering a bit. There's a grove of trees over here. There's a grove of trees down there if you turn around. It's vast wilderness. Alex wasn't from Rexburg. I mean, maybe someone tipped him off about the fishing. I don't know. But for an hour and a half, his car was parked out on the street. And just listen, it's silent, it's peaceful, it's quiet. Nobody's around. What happened here?
I'll tell you.
Follow me and I'll show you how far we walk. So one thing I've been learning about Idaho is it's absolutely beautiful. You know, I want to say this, though. It's interesting about Chad Daybell. It takes me back to the first podcast, Beyond the Veil series podcast that John and I did, that John was discussing Chad. And he said that he told a personal story at the end of this first episode we did of taking our son to Snow Canyon. It's in southern Utah. It's a beautiful red rock. And showing my son this vast beauty. My son, his son, our son. This vast beauty, this nature. And he compared it to what it meant to be mortal. That this moment, showing our son this beautiful world, was enough for John. That he didn't need to think about heaven or the future or be immortal or give it more meaning. And since I've been here in Idaho, I can't help but think about that. That place is beautiful. Yesterday, I saw a bald eagle fly out over a river. This place is so pretty. And to think that what Chad saw when he saw this beautiful place wasn't, oh, I want to just embrace this and live this and be with my family here. It was, no, I need to put white tents here. No, I need to make this mean more than just its beauty. No, I need to make it mean something in the hereafter. I need to give it more meaning and more importance than just being a beautiful place where he could raise his family, where he could be with his wife of 30 years, where he could take people fishing. I don't know, brings me back. Was Alex fishing, or was he doing something else out here? We're getting closer, guys. You can kind of see the landscape up there. You can see a couple groups. Look at all these. Are these grasshoppers or crickets or butterflies? I don't know. Nobody's out here. No one. But Alex, or someone with Alex's phone, let's say that. Someone with Alex's phone was out here for an hour and a half. I'll get the exact time. I keep saying an hour and a half, everyone. I'm going to find the exact time. I'm going to correct that and check. I'll make sure that I have the correction and the exact data of how long he was here, what day he was here. Right now, I have in my little notebook all these locations that I wanted to visit. That's what I have with me right now. And there's no, so that's why I can't tell you what day, what time, and how long, but I'll get that information. But I wanted you guys to see this. So we're coming to neighbors. So I just want to show you, I'm actually back. So again, right behind me, you walk down here, it's the Henry Fork River that you get to. I did just speak to neighbors, and I did learn that law enforcement have visited them. They said the FBI, at first they said the FBI had visited them. Of course, they actually then at the end said, you know, maybe it was someone with the sheriff's department. They didn't know, then they switched, like it was law enforcement that visited their house to ask them if they had camera video, because they explained that there was a ping here that I've been telling you about. And that they wanted to know if they had footage because they saw that they had cameras. Unfortunately, they got the cameras after. I also wanted to tell you what the date was here, and I have not been able to figure out. I know that it was after the death of Tylee. That's what I remember from the ping, and the reason I don't know is because the information is at my house in elsewhere. I'm in Idaho right now, so I came prepared, but not that prepared, and usually stuff is on my phone, and this past data happens to not be on my phone. So I made some calls with my contacts. I have not been able to figure out the date this was, but it was for an hour and a half to 2 hours again. Alex is parked right here. So again, so here's where I've parked. Alex is parked here. The ping is actually, I'll explain, a little bit further. It's like the center of the road over here. But I suspect it was probably here.
Okay, so hold on. I just found in J is for Justice where that comment was made about Operation Underground Railroad. So let me start here.
Melanie's door while she was moving her stuff in. That would be November 1st, not the second week in November. 11/5, Lori Vallow and Chad Mary in Hawaii. This is 17 days after Tammy Daybell died. On 11. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can pull up the date here real quick. But Melanie reportedly paid like $6,000 to attend some charity event down in Hawaii. And I think she like flew to LA and then bailed right before her flight to Hawaii. There was something else. There was something going on with that whole date and the Hawaii stuff.
It did say Operation.
Did she go out to Hawaii at that time?
Melanie did go out to Hawaii.
It is.
Both Melanie and Jason Moe had made trips out to Hawaii to visit Lori in between October and November.
Bam.
I thought so.
There's that.
It looks like this was supposed to be something different and that it was possible. They didn't know if it was an Underground Railroad event or not.
Weird.
I gotta find that and I gotta corroborate it.
Too weird. Okay, 11/7.
Okay,
Lori,
so there's that, and I'm gonna copy this link, put it in the chat. Oops. Oh, it's the wrong thing. I'm in the wrong area. Shocker, huh? Paste, send. Okay. And then let me share the link to Lauren's Hidden True Crimes video that I also referenced in this live stream. Share that with you guys so you can check it out on your own and try and help me understand this because it's weird. And these people are weird and they do weird things that don't make sense to any of us. But when I heard that, because I've watched all these J is for Justices with Carl Danger. I've done all the things. I watched all the things, but sometimes I go and I rewatch. And knowing what I know now versus then, and it comes back to me, and I'm like, holy shit, how did I not see this before? Or again, let me show you this.
Hey everyone, this is a place I've been wanting to go to ever since the trial. Let me tell you where I am, because it's, again, another place we have never
This was the
been
one I
to.
should have showed
So
you.
right out here is Highway 20. That is leaving West Yellowstone. So we're going back to actually September 8th, 2019. That was the last day that
Can't really hear
anyone
her.
ever saw Tylee Ryan, and we have those photos of her in
I
West
got chills.
Yellowstone.
Bad.
So I decided to take the same route again with the CAS data that I got from the FBI during the trial. Again, let me explain that really quickly too. So we have always known a lot of Alex Cox's pings. We've known a lot of Alex Cox's pings leaving West Yellowstone 3 years ago, because they brought that forward when the children were missing, before the children's remains were even found. So that was some of the first information we received. And we know that we've always known that they stopped at Buckaroo Bill's Barbecue right before the entrance of leaving West Yellowstone. They left out the west entrance. So they come down Highway 20. And then the next ping that we knew from 3 years
I
ago
think
was
so.
that Alex and Lori
I think
and
so.
Tylee and JJ,
Tylee.
those were the 4 people that were together visiting West Yellowstone. That
I've
arrived
got chills going on my whole
the
head.
trial, we learned a lot more from
My
FBI,
body.
but there were more pings from Alex Cox's phone, really important pings. And so one thing I wanted to do while I was here in Rexburg was to be able to visit these areas. And this is probably the area I've been wanting to visit the most, because it is so curious. And now that I've been here, I'm even kind of more surprised and more curious, because this is a service road. I thought I might find myself at a gas station or something. I'm on a service road. It was a little exit off of this highway again, Highway 20. They'd probably been traveling for about 40 minutes.
Let me
I'm
look it up
taking
on the
same
map
route.
while she
They've
talks.
been traveling outside of West Yellowstone, JJ, Tylee, Alex, and Lori, for about 40-ish minutes, I would say. Maybe 45, maybe 35, give or take. And then this little street, it's 163. I'm going to double check that, but I think it says a little 163. It's dirt, as you can see. This is a dirt road, a lot of gnats. I know you guys tell me to not touch my face while I'm going live, and I'm touching my face.
That's okay.
So you can see this is rural. And since I've been pulled over and I've been wandering, and I've been here for quite a while before going live, we haven't seen anyone. No one's here. And I passed it before pulling over. I had to do a U-turn to come here. It's not easily found. I don't know what they were doing here. And this is the most interesting part. So they were Alex's phone pinged here, but it wasn't right here. I'm going to take you to where his phone pinged. We found it. Follow me.
All right. So hold on just a second. I'm going to show you on the map what she's talking about. Okay. So wait, let me back out. I'm not a big map person. So, right. It's an hour and 20 minutes from West Yellowstone, or US 20. Okay. Cause that's what, let me put this in there. Let me put West Yellowstone. Okay. So that's it right there. Okay. Hour and 2 minutes, or an hour and 37. God dang it. I hate when those things pop up. Rexburg's here. Right here. Oh, I just happened to land on that. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right? Okay. So again, she didn't have all the information with her when she was there. And I didn't know about these. I just, for some reason, they didn't register for me. I've read the FOIA docs. I've read all the things. It just is not one of those things that clicked for me. So it takes all of us. Okay. It really does. And I appreciate her for that, because when I saw this video, this was as Lori was being sentenced July 31st, 2023, this year. And when I saw Lauren post this video, again, full body chills. And I was like, that's it. That's where it happened. Because Tylee, the way she was murdered, the way her body was found in pieces, dismembered, burned and buried. I mean, desecrated. Okay, erased. Tried to erase her. And this made me think the other day about how it was so odd that Chad, while the FBI was searching his property, why did he wait and leave once JJ was found? And something I had never thought about before was it's because his knowledge of how the children were buried. It would be easier for them to find JJ, right? Not so easy to find Tylee because of how he treated, allegedly, and I hate that word. I was crossing my fingers the whole time. How he treated her body. He and Alex. And I don't know if Laura was there. Who knows? But that's what I was like, oh my God, yeah, okay. And I mean, maybe I'm slow. Maybe other people have already, came to that conclusion. But I mean, I always thought it was weird. But then I was like, okay, because he's like, oh shit, they're going to find him right there, But if it were Tylee, or I don't know, I'll have to go back and listen to testimony to see how they searched and, which one they went to first. Burial site A, B, however they list it. But anyway, so let me do Chad's address, which is, oh my God, it's so weird. 200 North, it's a weird address. South 200 North South 1900 or something. Or maybe I have it backwards. They're weird. 1900. Let me try this. 1900. Let me take Yellowstone out of there. Salem, Salem, one of the 7 Salems. Salem, Idaho. Okay, it's showing me here. I don't think that's it. I don't want Rexburg. My bad. See, again, I don't map. Details. This is where I want to go. I don't think this is it. Okay, now I got to find his address. Anybody know? Let me go to the chat. Maybe you guys know. It's like 200 and 1900. I know that much. Okay, Teton River, Idaho Temple. I remember that. I remember you telling me that too, Donna, back then.
Don't let this confuse you, because it's not the address you're looking for, though. That address.
Yeah, but I want to see how far it is from Chad's.
Oh, okay. I will try to find it.
Chad's address. So it's weird. It always confuses me. Let me do 1900 East 200. There it is. Okay, I think. Yeah, this is it. So this is Chad's. Now I don't know how to do it to the pings. Okay. Let's see which one's Chad's. Right here? Yeah, okay. So this is Chad's property. Whoa, hello. Hello. Yeah. Okay, so straight down this road, going straight down this road right here is where the pings were. So let me continue on with Lauren.
So I just wanted you guys to get the road down there, understand how close we are to the road. But it wasn't like they just pulled over either. That is also very suspicious and very curious to me. Because if they were pulling over to like go to the bathroom, and I don't know, maybe he did want more privacy. But we got plenty right here now, right? I mean, we're still walking though. They were still driving in here. So I don't know what was going on here. and why they had to go so far in. But then I thought, okay, well, they probably just quickly pulled over. No, we're still going. We're still walking. I got the exact ping where the FBI cast data says they were, and this was not for 2 minutes. This was not for 30 seconds. I don't know how long Alex Cox would need to pee, but they were here. I would say it was about 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh,
5 to 7 minutes.
that's
Okay.
not very long.
So I've actually marked the spot so that I remember where to take you guys. So we're far. You can't see the road now. And this is the ping. But it's not here where he was for 6 to 7 minutes. He was all the way down there.
So what the hell's
by those
over there?
trees. That's where the phone pinged for 6 and 7 minutes. That hasn't really been explained. But you know, those FBI testimonies, I just want to say this, they are kind of technical. They can get boring. I remember being really confused and saying during my lunch lives during the trial, I remember saying, I've got to go back and re-listen to what the FBI was saying because I need to write some notes down. And it was confusing. I don't know if you guys remember those live tweets too, but I was like, this is going over my head. It's too much. So I did. And I got the cast data, the pings, and this is one of the places. So the day Tylee disappears, or the last place anyone sees her is West Yellowstone. They go to Buckaroo Bills right before they leave the entrance. And then he doesn't go straight.
Okay, now hold on. I'm going back to the map because I just found something. Okay, this is a Fort Henry historic monument. So it's Henry Lake, right? Or what the hell? So well, get me back down there. I was road level, street level. There we go. Because there are people right here checking it out. And so I just went straight down Chad's Road, right? Because I know it's that direction. I mean, what they doing? Okay. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna go back to her. Sorry.
To Rexburg. No one drives straight to Rexburg. They stop here. He gets out, and down there, his phone pings for 6 to 7 minutes.
So what
We
happened
learned this
there?
in the trial.
What could happen in 6 or 7 minutes?
So since that last place I stopped, that last ping
Okay,
from
here's the river.
cast data, we've been traveling like 6-7 minutes. We're now in Ashton, Idaho.
Okay, so 6-7 minutes from Ashton. But here, I just looked on the map again, and here's Henry's Fork River. Okay. I'm trying to go. Am I going north? Let's see. What direction is this? Where's the thing? Yeah, I was going this way. Ah, see how I did that? I don't like that. And so we continue going. I just don't know I don't know the pings either. And so I have to look that up and probably do a whole nother deep dive into this because it sparked my curiosity so well. I'm just saying, hold on. That looked like that little cut that she went into. I'm sure there's plenty of them. I mean, we have those kind of things here. But she said 6 or 7 minutes to Ashton. Ash something. Oh, what did that sign say? Oh, well, god dang it. Just kind of looking. Really ain't nothing there. All right, we're gonna this is weird. But anyways, I wish I knew what I was doing. I wish I had better coordinates or better put together. I'm just trying to see. I mean, when am I going to come up on Ashton? St. Anthony, Idaho sand dunes. Patriot Motorsport Adventures, Sand Hills RV Resort. Wait, what the hell? Did we divert? Why does it say red? No, okay. St. Anthony Campground, Juniper Mountain Ranch. Now it says Red Road. Why? I don't know. Maybe I'm off. There's nothing around here. But I want to see without, I don't know. Again, I should probably just go look in the FOIA docs and just Google it, or, you know, search a keyword search in there to find out. Because this is on their way back from Yellowstone. Let me back out. Let me back the truck out. Ice caves. Oh, that's cool. Kilgore Cemetery. Where the hell's the damn road? All right, let me go back to her.
According to statements, let me get closer. I gotta get closer. I don't have my microphone. I forget. I think I'm a TV reporter and everyone can hear me. So according to statements made by Lori Vallow Daybell, she claims that they stopped in Ashton, Idaho briefly to use the restroom. She said that it was in Ashton. We're here. Ashton is tiny. And that she stopped on the same side as this root beer, Frosty root beer.
I remember that
gas
sign.
station on the same side as that Frosty root beer. So if you come look right here, take us around. We are at the Chevron, and that is where she says that they stopped to clean JJ up because he had had an accident. Again, it was 6 to 7 minutes from what could be another bathroom break. I don't know, but allegedly, according to statements made by Lori, on September 8th, 2019, after leaving Yellowstone, JJ has an accident. They come here.
I'm looking it up in the documents right now. You hear the ducks?
So we're on the last ping of Lori, Alex, Tylee, and JJ's trip back to Rexburg after West Yellowstone. So again, I've taken you off of Highway 20 after they left Buckaroo Bills, and they had this stop 6-7 minutes where they were off this service road. And then we continued on, and there was actually another stop at a gas station, very quick. And then we continued on, and we're still not back in Rexburg. I am actually here in Salem, Sugar City. In fact, right over here is an elementary school where Emma Daybell used to work, just by coincidence. We have found the ping. This is a ping, again, that is on the cast graph that the FBI puts together that we learned about during the trial.
Okay, so it's
Than what we've been given.
that's where it's at. Okay, I'm sitting here looking at the docs.
Here's the ping. Follow me. Just follow me, because I'm going to show you guys where it is. We came to the end of the road. I had to get out to find it. Beautiful, by the way. Again, look at how beautiful this place is. It's sunset. There's one thing Chad got right. It was how beautiful this area is. It just doesn't need any white tent. So this is the Salem River.
Watch for the snakes, girl.
The ping lasted 20 minutes. And if you guys are like, what in the world? I don't get it. Neither do I. I don't know what it means. But this isn't, so follow this. I'm going to take this rock a little bit past that rock. It's heavier than I thought. Bad throw. You saw where that rock went? A
Oh,
little
beautiful.
bit further into that field. That's the exact place of the ping. Of course, you know, one thing that the FBI witnessed during his testimony when he was explaining all the CAS data system, they were talking about little errors, little things that can happen. I just got the exact coordinates, and for 20 minutes, Alex's phone pinged here. They left West Yellowstone through the west entrance after going to Buckaroo Bills, and then they stopped on that service road for 7 minutes, and then they stopped at a gas station, and then 20 minutes here.
Okay, real quick. While we're here,
From Mr. Balance, who was previously placed under oth yesterday.
this is from Nick Balance. I met him in the
in
in the
direct
elevator.
examination with Mr. Wood conducted
Right
the
next to
direct.
me.
Court notes all the jurors are present and accounted for, and would note on the record also they've all signed their juror affirmation. So we appreciate your continued service. With that in mind, Mr. Wood, if you'd like to continue with your direct examination, you can.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd ask the witness be hand what's been marked as.
Special Agent Nick Balance, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what does it take to become a special agent?
So it's an application process.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Where did you go to school? Where did you go to college?
So I went to school.
And then you started working for the
all that
office. Anytime you're working in a smaller field office, you.
And so 5 to 10.
So one of the biggest pieces of that particular case of where phones were during relevant times. And then that's looked at and graded, and there's a determination made of whether you would go to the next training.
Able to show the approximate location by cell tower?
Yes, because anytime that I'm mapping, that's usually the difficulty is you either zoom in too far and it takes away things, or you zoom out too far and you can't see specifically locations.
Tylee's phone.
And what did you report on slide 102?
So this is an interaction with the network of 480-692-9612, which I had attributed to Tylee Ryan. And it's showing from the records that I had, the last usage of that phone, which is where it's receiving 2 incoming messages. And that's December the 15th at approximately 12:25 p.m., utilizing a tower out in Kauai.
And that number is attributable to Tylee Ryan, you said?
That's correct.
On December 15th?
That's correct.
Let me go to this one.
Particular measurements, that's whenever we would take it back into a software mapping program and would look at, and we can basically filter out specific towers and sectors and what that true coverage would look like for each individual one that it
Here it is. Here it is.
Talking about doing an entire city like Rexburg, it took us driving better part of a week to complete it.
And that was Rexburg, Sugar City, St. Anthony, the whole area that's in your CAST report?
Correct.
That only took you a week to do?
Correct.
All right.
All right.
Sectors being utilized, overlapping areas that appear.
Oh, it's going over.
So would that be considered triangulation, or when you're using cell towers to triangulate to try to find where a person is or where a person's phone would be?
Somewhat. Usually triangulation is based off of the measurement from particular towers.
Let me pause it so it'll stop resetting. Okay. And see where in here does he say that? Maybe here. Let's try it.
Rexburg.
Roughly. I know they were somewhat new to the area, but as far as dates, no, I'm not aware.
If I were to tell you that they had moved there September the 1st of that same year, it's 2019, and all these records look like they're from September the 1st through October, November, December of 2019. Does that make sense?
So I know I had records prior to September the 1st, but I don't recall mapping those out to see like when those devices first started showing up in Rexburg.
Okay.
All right.
So given the fact that they had moved there, if you,
Okay, let me go to the next one. Sorry, it's process, right? And so I'm reading the transcript over here, okay? So it's going back to Rob Wood.
An area where there's overlapping coverage
Oh,
associated
that's
with both of those.
overlapping. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, 2, 3. Okay, here. I think this is it. Well, no, that says 23rd. Hold on. I'm going to back it up a little bit. $9:30. Going back. What I can do later is edit this video to where it is we can skip all the dead space. So if you're not able to be here, I understand. Let's go from
To
here.
Rexburg, looking at the drive test data of that particular tower, that tower would not provide coverage up to the Daybell residence.
What? It would not.
So at this point,
Okay.
that phone attributable to Chad Daybell is within the coverage of that tower, but not within the coverage of the tower that provides coverage to his home.
Correct. So if you look between this page and the
That's probably why Alex's phone pinged. Remember? And it was like a 10-minute window, but it pinged 2 different cell phone towers. Remember that?
one previous, you'll see that this tower is slightly west of the tower that was utilized during the previous interaction on page 35 of the report. Okay, so this is going to show interactions between 3 different numbers: 0143 attributed to Chad Daybell, 9120 attributed to Alex Cox, and 4652 attributed to Lori Vallow between 1243 and 1249. So to start with the 0143, you see an outgoing and an incoming SMS utilizing this tower and sector. And then since both 9120 and 4652 were Verizon phones,
That would be Lori and Alex.
they're going to be utilizing the same tower and
I think.
sector. So you can see both the black and the blue are represented here of utilizing that same tower and sector. And so basically what this is showing is these towers are utilizing, or these phones are utilizing towers and sectors with an overlapping coverage area down in Rexburg.
And this was, again, on September 9th?
That is correct. September 9th from 1243 to 1249 p.m.
During the day. So what time did they travel back from Yellowstone? You know? I'm so lost.
Agent, can you tell us what you found and reported on slide 42?
Yes, so this was a second date that I was asked to analyze and determine if there was any information that could indicate general locations of phones. And this was September the 23rd of 2019. So we're looking at a time period from 3:59 in the morning until 8:35 in the morning, and looking at tower interactions by 0143, which would be attributed to Chad Daybell. So basically there's numerous outgoing SMS messages and one incoming SMS or text message that occur during that time window, starting at 3:59 and then going to 8:34 in the morning. And those were all with 4652, a phone that was attributed to Lori Vallow.
What did you find and report on slide 43?
So this was from Google location history for Homer J. Maximus at Gmail, which was associated with Alex Cox between 9:01 in the morning and 9:41 in the morning. And the locates all repeat with a 15-meter margin of error, consistent with that device being at Alex Cox's residence.
And so can you just remind again what the yellow circle with the R means?
Certainly. So the yellow circle is the margin of error. So when we see here, all of these have a margin of error of 15 meters. So that yellow circle is representative of what 15 meters looks like for that margin of error.
And what did you find in report on slide 44?
So this is looking at a tower interaction of 9374, which was attributed to Chad Daybell. And this shows an outgoing call to 9120, which was attributed to Alex Cox. And that during that time, this is the 9374 is a Verizon phone, unlike the previous orange tower and sector we've seen up here. So it would be utilizing a different tower and sector since it's a different network. And so this tower and sector does provide coverage to the Daybell residents.
And what did you find in report on slide 47?
So this is looking at interactions for two different phones, 0143, the number attributed to Chad Daybell, and then 4652 attributed to Lori Vallow on September the 23rd, 2019, between 9:27 and 9:37, and basically shows the 0143 number utilizing three different towers and shows the different activity. So specifically to this tower, we see outgoing call, an outgoing text message, and an incoming text message. All of those are exchanged with 4652. We see an outgoing call with 4652 on this tower and sector. And then we see an incoming SMS from 4652 on this tower and sector.
And again, what date was this?
This is September the 23rd, 2019.
Okay, so that upper right-hand box, those are three calls between a phone attributable to Chad Daybell and a phone attributable to Lori Vallow, correct?
That's correct.
And those all take place between 9:30 and 9:35?
AM or PM?
And yeah, correct.
Okay. And there's then in the box to the left, there's another call.
That's correct.
In those same phones at 9:36?
Correct. So that's showing the tower and sector utilized by 4652 during that time range, and you see two of the calls here being in communication with 0143.
Okay. So that's representative of those other calls that are discussed above.
Wish they just say
Yes,
their name.
correct.
Okay, but just from another tower.
Yes, correct.
All right. And this, again, September 23rd between 9:27 and 9:37 a.m.
That's correct.
What did you find in report on slide 48?
This is looking specific to Google location history for Homer J. Maximus associated with Alex Cox, showing between 9:45 and 9:49 that the device reporting to that Google account moved from the area down here in Rexburg near Alex Cox's residence north.
So if we can go to the bottom box in purple, what does that represent?
So this represents a Google location. The type is going to be Wi-Fi, and then the margin of error is 100 meters.
Wi-Fi.
And so when I talked yesterday about if you put every single date, time, margin of error, and latitude, longitude on every single one of these, it makes a map that's difficult to read. So instead, what you're looking at is a summary box over here where you have one Wi-Fi location and 10 GPS locations. The margin of error for the Wi-Fi is the 100 meters reported here, and then 3 to 7 meters for the GPS locations that are reported going north. And so basically the two times that are reported here and here are more of a bookend showing the start and the end of this particular page and what I'm representing with this time period.
Okay, so to summarize, on September 23rd, a phone attributable to Alex Cox is within 100 meters of, well, I don't want to misstate that, is within 100 meters of that Wi-Fi signal in the general location of Lori Vallow's apartment, correct?
That's correct. Just northwest of where the apartment is.
Just northwest of it. And then by 9:49, he's moving up what looks to be Highway 20. And there he's being pinged by GPS 10 times.
So basically, not to correct you, but a ping would be basically something to where the carrier or company sent out a request for a location. This isn't a ping. This is basically looking at a location that was reported. So in essence, there's no request from the company to locate where the device is. This is just stored information of where it is. And so during that time window, everything else you said is correct.
Well,
The
it might have been the day
is
before.
moving
North. Or two.
And at 9:49 is indicating consistent with it being on Highway 20 with a 3-meter margin of error.
Okay, and that's September 23rd.
Oops, sorry.
Correct.
Was that a date you were asked to specifically look at?
Yes, it was.
Why was that?
That was a date that was indicated that potentially there was an event that occurred in the investigation. And that was based off of what investigators were looking at of last known times whenever J.J. Vallow was alive.
Okay. So, and just to make sure I don't speak incorrectly, a ping is when the cell company sends out a signal.
Correct. So say, for instance, I can give a pretty good example for it. If we were looking for a missing person that had went hiking in the woods, we can request that the cell phone carrier ping the phone to determine its location of where it is now. And so they're initiating on their network a request to locate versus looking at historical records that are already maintained by the provider.
Okay, thanks. What did you find and report on slide 49?
So these are from the Google location history for Homer J. Maximus at Gmail, which was attributed to Alex Cox, and looking at different locations that were reported around the Chad Daybell residence on September 23rd, 2019, between 9:55 and 10:12 or 10:13.
Can you walk us through those as they occurred chronologically?
Yes. So the first one that we see is going to be at 9:55 and 6 seconds, which is going to be a 50-meter margin of error showing the center point just northwest of the Daybell residence. And then we see at 9:56 a much smaller margin of error with a GPS hit of 4 meters. And that's again at 9:56. And that is an area kind of just northeast of a small pond. And then we see the next one, 9:57, a much larger margin of error via Wi-Fi, which shows 100 meters centered here, kind of in the middle of the yard.
All right.
And then next we see 10:02, another very small margin of error of 3 meters, GPS, and indicating close proximity to the location where J.J. Vallow was located. Beyond that, we see additionals at 10:05, 10:07, and 10:12.
Okay.
Anywhere from 28 meters to 60 or 92 meters margin of error. The last one that we see shown in this particular page is at 10:12 and 42 seconds.
I found the other one. We're about to go there.
So, to summarize, on September 23rd, 2019, between 9:55 and 10:12, a phone attributable to Alex Cox was located at those spots on Chad Daybell's residence.
That's correct.
What did you find and report on slide 51?
So this is looking at network interactions with 0143 attributed to Chad Daybell on September 23rd, 2019, between 9:30 in the morning and 10:27 in the morning. This shows the use of 2 different towers and sectors. And I can go through each box. There's an outgoing call to 4652 attributed to Lori Vallow. And everything in this box looks like it's going to be the same interactions with 4652 to include outgoing and incoming text messages, as well as outgoing calls. And then the same thing over here. There is one number that I don't recognize, but
I
4652
wonder why there's a number that's not recognized.
has 2 interactions with the 0143 phone at 9:36 and 10:26. So the other thing I'll point out is that, as you can see, this is we have 9:36 an interaction with this tower. We have 9:35 an interaction with this tower. So that's when I talked about yesterday, to where when a phone is utilizing 2 different towers and sectors, we can look at that phone is likely located very near to the overlapping coverage area versus being all the way up here in St. Anthony and then 1 minute later being down here closer to this particular tower and sector.
Okay.
So
hold on just one second. We're going to go here while I'm right here, while we're in this. And I put in September 9th. This is the day before that he keeps talking to. And so I'm thinking they talked about Tylee first, then JJ, right?
Go over some of the events and some of the things you found on September 9th of 2019. Can you tell the jury what you see on and what you mapped out on page 19?
So this was looking at the Google location history associated with a Google account of homerjmaximus@gmail.com. So the way that Google identifies an account, just like your cellular carrier is going to identify your account based in part on your phone number, Google is primarily going to identify account by that gmail.com address.
Do you know who homerjmaximus@gmail.com? Do you know who that email account belonged to?
I
Or
reviewed
Google
the
account?
subscription sheet associated with the Gmail account, and it came back to Alex Cox.
Okay, thank you. If you can continue to explain what's on page 19.
So you'll see a trend because there's several pages that potentially are going to be shown. And just so you're familiar with the structure of the report, at the top, what you're typically going to see is what I'm mapping, whether that be an interaction with a cellular network or Google location. So that's kind of the Google location history that's explaining what it's going to be. Below that, you're typically going to see the account, whether it's an account or a particular map is providing an overview of. So specifically, this is looking at September the 9th, 2019 from midnight until 5 a.m. So again, when I talked about the mapping for Google location history, I did not map anything that was greater than 100 meters. So when we're looking at this, we're looking at 3 locations that were repeated on all 3 occasions at 2:42 and 2 seconds, 2:42 and 11 seconds, and then 3:37 and 22 seconds. This is Google location points based on GPS that were directly northwest of Lori Vallow's apartment.
And I'm going to stop you really quick. Would it be helpful for you to use a pointer to show the jury specifically what it is you're talking about?
37-meter margin of error. The additional Google location points, again, a repeat of the same points, but showing a 37-meter margin of error that would be consistent with the phone being at Alex Cox's residence.
Okay, and I know we went over a legend earlier, but just as we get into this to aid the jury, there is an AC in that bigger yellow circle, correct?
Correct. And so you'll see down on the bottom left, that's going to usually show the legend of the specific locations that we're looking at, only to include the full address would, again, create, cover up the map per se. So those addresses are all in the legend on the previous pages, but what you're looking at is just the icons.
So on the night of September 9th, and we won't necessarily go into so much detail on each slide, but just so that we're tracking. On the night of September 9th, that device was just northwest of Lori Vallow's apartment.
Correct. And I would say the early morning hours.
Or,
of September
thank you.
9th, that semantics.
Yes.
But.
No, that's the more accurate way to say it. Thank you. Agent, did you ever track or find other times when a device signed into Homer J. Maximus was located at Lori Vallow's apartment between the hours of 12 and 5 or in the middle of the night?
I did. I looked at the time period from, I believe, August 1st until October 31st, and there were, I believe it was less than 10, but there were other times other than this specific date and time where the device reported a margin of error that was small enough to be consistent with it being.
All right, I'm going to skip down to this one.
We're ending 0143 and 4652 during the time period of September 9th from 7:20 in the morning until 8:04.
Okay.
You're seeing Chad Daybell's residence represented here in green with CD. Lori Vallow's residence represented down here. This is a good example to say too, where I don't have an icon for Alex Cox's residence, but that's because if I were to place it, they're so close in proximity that they would overlap each other. And then we're looking at the location of the BYU library. So over here, again, if you want to see which particular color is represented from the particular interaction with the network, we see that 4652 is represented in blue. And then up here, we see 0143 is represented in orange. And then you're looking at the summary of the activity that took place on each one of those towers and sectors. So on the 0143 number, we see several incoming and outgoing SMS messages with 4652 utilizing this tower and sector, which would provide coverage to Chad Daybell's residence. And then we see a call that is between 0143 and 4652. Down here, we see the other side of that call where 4652 is receiving that call from 0143, utilizing a tower and sector that provides coverage down in Rexburg.
Okay, and can you remind the jury, the number 515-402-0143, who has that been attributed to?
I had that attributed to Chad Daybell.
And the other number, 480-489-4652, who has that been attributed to?
I had that attributed to Lori Vallow.
Okay. And so on the morning of September 9th, 2019, between 7:20 and 8:04, there were multiple communications between those devices.
That's correct.
Okay. Can you explain what's of significance on page 21?
Yes. So what we're seeing, again, the summary at the top, I'll only mention this one more time because then it might be redundant, but we're looking at tower interactions with the network between 9120 and 9374 at 8:11 in the morning. So this is a call made by 9374 utilizing this tower and sector, which would provide coverage to Chad Daybell's residence, to contact 9120. And this is showing the other side of that call where it's receiving it as an incoming, utilizing a tower and sector, which would provide coverage to Rexburg to include Lori Vallow and Alex Cox's apartments, respectively.
Okay, and again, those numbers, can you tell the jury who they're attributable to?
Yes, so I had 9120 being attributed to Alex Cox, and then 9374 being attributed to Chad Daybell.
So is it a fair summary to say that there was 180-second or 3-minute conversation between those two devices?
That is correct.
The morning of September 9th at 8:11.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yes, that is correct.
That's okay. What is of significance to you on page 22?
So this is looking at 3 different towers and sectors that are being utilized by the 0143 phone. And the different activity is shown in each of the call boxes. So this is an outgoing text to 4652. This is an incoming SMS from an unidentified number. And this is an outgoing and incoming SMS, both with 4652. So when we're looking at this, we're seeing 3 different towers and sectors that are being utilized within about a 51 minute time frame.
And what does that mean to you as an analyst of these type of records?
So one of the things that I talked about earlier is looking at where we estimate that a phone could be based on tower and sector usage. So anytime we see usage between towers and sectors that are a vast distance apart, what I would anticipate is that the phone, especially when you're looking at, 858 and 905, that's less than 7 minutes apart. So what I would anticipate based on my training and experience
I'm
is
skipping to
that
here.
In light of what you were just testifying about, what's the significance of page 23?
so this is where I talked about where we can represent coverage areas and overlapping coverage areas. So if you're looking the tower here, the coverage area, and it's only going to be the coverage area, not the dominant area. That coverage area is represented by the red. The tower here, that tower and sector is represented by the green. And then the tower and sector on the southwest part of the map is represented by the yellow. So then what you can see is the overlapping coverage area, and when it goes onto the screen, it doesn't necessarily show it as clear. But what you're looking at is that orange area is the overlapping coverage area.
What did you map on page 25?
So this is looking at, again, mapping some of the Google location history. So we're looking at 8:49 to 9:15 approximately, showing that at 8:49 and 19 seconds, the account associated with Homer J. Maximus at Gmail, which we attributed to Alex Cox, that phone is reporting to Google a location down in the area of his apartment. And then at 9:15 and 43 seconds, that phone is now reporting a location just south of Chad Daybell's residence.
And what is the margin of error on those?
So the one down here on the bottom, you can see the R8, which means 8 meters margin of error. And then R3 on the one on the
Is it
top,
AM or
meaning
PM?
3 meters margin of error.
And again, the arrow doesn't mean that's specifically the path followed, correct?
That's correct. It's basically just representing locate down here preceded the one.
What did you map on page 26?
So again, this is mapping location history for Homer J. Maximus attributed to Alex Cox for the time period of 9:21 and 36 seconds to 10:57 and 3 seconds. And this is mapping any point that I saw in the Google location history that was of 100 meters or less. And so what that gave is 4 location records that indicated where Google believed this device was during the specific times on the called out boxes.
Can you specifically point out those times and the margins of error with those?
Sure. So the first one that we see is at 9:21, which is a 6 meter margin of error. And that's going to be represented by this smaller circle here. I realize the other one is over top of it. The next one that we see is at 9:22 and 50 seconds, which is going to be up here by a gate into the Daybell property. And that's a 3 meter margin of error. Then we're going to see at 10:39, this 43 larger circle, margin of error, which is where the Google location is indicating that the device is basically a 43 meter margin of error in the backyard. And then we see at 10:57 and 3 seconds, a 5 meter margin of error, which is plotted just south of a location that I was provided for the burn pit.
Okay, and can you, I see that you've got your legend labeled, but just for benefit of the jury, can you point out where each of those labels are located on that map?
Sure. So Chad Daybell's residence is represented in green here with CD. The location of Tylee Ryan's body is here, which is represented by TY in red. And then BP is the burn pit, which is just southeast of where Tylee Ryan was located.
Anyway, so then they close for the day. I'm gonna have to do more research on this because it's fascinating and it's confusing too. So it's confusing. So this is from 565. This is from Lori's apartment, Lori and Alex's apartments, and Melanie Pulowski too. And this is Chad's property. And so it's an 11-minute. God dang it! I wish it'd stop popping up. It's an 11-minute drive, right? 7.8 miles. Oh, well, move. Anyways, so, but yeah, so I'm gonna have to go and break that down to really understand those pings. I don't quite, and there's too much of the crosstalk of the technicalities and the, technical talk. So, But I appreciate you guys, being here today with me. I thank you, mods, for doing this shit with me again. 3 hours and 14 minutes later. And, here we are again. So, but it's interesting. I really don't know what all they could have been doing in just that little window of time in that field. Now that I kind of revisited that, I really don't know. It's nefarious for sure. You don't just stop off at out in the middle of freaking nowhere when you're that close to home. And so that's another thing I got to gauge. So I'm a visual learner too, big time. I got to see it. I mean, I'm very imaginative. Uh, I can picture things, how they play out in my mind as they are being explained. I can visualize these things, but to explain it, in a more accurate and detailed and factual way, I think the only way to do that is to do that with visual charts, right? So I'm gonna work on that. That's
Hey,
what I'm gonna
Krisha,
do. Yeah.
before you go, do you want to see Lori get out of the car when she got to Arizona?
Yes.
Let me
I
see if
do.
I can bring that up.
Okay. Yes. Let's look at the hooker. Hooker 1, hooker 2. There's so many. Oh, turn your volume on if you want to. Look at her. She's wearing blue or black. Does it have volume?
That's it.
Oh, chatty Cathy, yeah. And then she got to do the bend and squat and cough. Oh, they really, I mean, I'm just saying it's nice to kind of see how they're dealing with her. Thank you to this videographer or this body cam. Thank you for your service. We salute you. Oh my bejesus. Like barefoot, she gotta drop her flip flops off, get her a new set of flip flops. Hopefully they're not the same size flip flops. You have like a 9 and a 7. Look, girl, got you some new flops. Hey, girl. It was not worth $1 million, turns out. That's what I heard. Oh, is it worth it? Let me work it. Just kidding. Oh, please. It's okay. So is she gonna be who's gonna braid whose hair? Jodi Arias? Who's gonna be the alpha? Take your picture. That one. That picture. What? Wow. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that with us. Oh my God. Holy hell.
Yeah,
Clip clop.
we needed to see that.
Yeah, there is no audio, but oh my gosh. Yeah, we needed to see that. And that's a good way to end this live stream, right? It was in fact not worth not even $1,000. It was not worth $1 million. It's not worth the lives that were stolen, robbed, and for what? For what? For what? Money, power, sex, and their belief system. And again, I do believe that no one was murdered in this case, just like Lori said. No one was, but they were sacrificed. And so there you go. Semantics. So, oh Lord, right. I'm sorry, I just said the wrong thing. Dollar Tree, Axl Rose, right? Oh Lord, Lori and Jodi, demons. She does look like her mommy. When it clicks for her that this is real, she is going to try and escape. You think so? Ooh, I hope they catch it on body cam footage. That's all I'm saying. The Botox has stopped working, right, Rombo? Right? Oh my gosh, her new ID number. Right, 666, all the way. Sherry says I'm watching several things at the same time. That's how we roll. Multitaskers. That's the only thing I can multitask in. successfully. I just can't recall it. But that's really cool. Glad to hear that. Anyway, so I know we took a real big, that's what I do. That's what we do here. we explore difficult things, weird things that maybe not, they don't make sense to a lot of us. They don't make sense to me, but I'm trying to make sense of something that is nonsensical. My Uncle Charles said she's nonsensical, and he was right. I believe him over everybody and anybody. So, Jean Marie, good to see you. Been a while. She's in is it Maricopa County? Trace knows for sure. I think it is Maricopa County. Oh, it starts with an E though, huh? Ezra, I don't even know. Maybe if Trace is feeling Estrella. And Donna, thank you. Thank you. So Estrella, I don't know. But earlier I had shared with you guys, and I'll end after this. Where'd it go? I'll probably close it out. Let's see. It was from Kirk Nurmi, and it was a tweet. I don't know if it's still allowing me to share. Am I still sharing? No. Okay, here. Whatever. Stop. Present, share. Here. And this was from Kirk Nurmi. And it says, it was a tweet, and it says, Kirk Nurmi, hashtag Lori Vallow in Maricopa County. My sympathy for her lawyer. But at least they know what is coming. In 2009, hashtag Jodi Arias was not the household name that Cult Mom is. So that is from Kirk Nurmi. I always wondered who was going to braid whose hair, right? Hey, S.L. Connolly. Does she love the orange? It's definitely not in everybody's wheelhouse, in their color wheelhouse. It's not my color for sure. Again, I did not answer to 3. I always forget the name of these things. And I mean, this is a little dirt on myself, right? It was, I got 3 contempt of courts for not showing up because I hate confrontation, but I hate jail more. So just lesson learned. Okay. And so I spent 13 days in the parish jail here. And I was like, oh my God, I do not belong here. Right. This was years ago. And what the hell? Eyelash or something. Whenever Lori was arrested, I was just like, I mean, and I feel like I'm more of I feel like I'm more tougher than she is. And so to see or to imagine her in jail, I'm a hard ass. I mean, I can handle myself, she don't look like the fighting type, but she fights dirty. But it just, I don't know. Answer your court hearing, when they call you to go to court, go. That's the moral of the story. But 13 days versus however long she's been in jail now, very deserving. And I don't know. It would be awesome to be a fly on the wall. She's a delicate girl. No, but she is the crazy type. JoJo says, yeah. Missy Elliott, yeah. In jail. Holding? She's being processed in. I mean, she's still under. Oh, that's the other thing I shared that detective's daughter had sent me, which was that she is still. This individual is not currently in an IDOC, Idaho Department of Corrections facility. Please direct inquiries to the agency listed above. And so I don't know what that is, but she's basically on loan. Because she still has to exhaust her appeals in Idaho, right? And so as of 3:34 this morning, witching hours, Thursday, November 30th, 2023, she was in custody with Maricopa County. I guess I'll just say Arizona. In Maricopa County. Okay. And then there hers is. She's gross. We already know that. We already know that. Oh. What the hell? Okay. All right. Well, I was going to show the video of her in. I'm trying to close all these tabs. And maybe I will. It's in my StreamYard app because Donna went and recorded that for me. Thank God. That was awesome. You can also go in there and help me create shorts because that's so fun. All right, let me share this.
That makes you non-bailable at this hearing. So you're not eligible for bail in either case. You do have your court date. You know a lawyer is going to be appointed for you. Do you have any questions?
Are those cases going to be combined, or are they going to be done separately?
Well, they are two separate cases, but they're going to be handled at the same hearing.
Okay.
Okay. So you can talk to your lawyer, but they are two separate cases, which means that you'd have two separate proceedings going forward if it goes to trial.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Howell?
Just one attorney, or more attorneys will be assigned?
Well, at this point in time, you're likely going to have the one lawyer represent you at this particular hearing. What the Maricopa County Public Defender does at this point in time with respect to who they assign for counsel for you, or how many lawyers you have, or anything like that, that will be between you and your lawyer.
Anyways, see you guys later. Thank you so much for everything.
2673.
All right.
She's just going to
So Ms.
repeat.
Vallow, you are appearing
Ms.
here
Vallow.
on two cases.
Okay. All right. Bye. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins. You guys are proof of this. Appreciate if there were any super chats. Thank you so much. And for the merch and all that, I hate branding murder of my family members. It really does suck. There's no silver lining in this shit. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. See you guys next time. Bye. Next crime.